giving it a second for the lag because it's YouTube. What up, homeboys? We're on the 8th episode of the Unofficial podcast. We are straight from Booty Bay, the best bay, not the board pain of Erlina US anymore. This is old. We are live with Hello J Telo, the Red Paladin Master, and we are gonna complain about balance probably for 2 hours, so I hope you look forward to that. I'm kidding though. We got a lot more going on. How you doing, Telo?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm here. I'm settled down. I'm locked in. Much love to you, all to the fans of San Medina out there. How you guys doing? I'm Telo Rhett, better known as basically Jello in Agron's eyes. So I want the whole SoD development team shot. Much love to you, but appreciate it in Minecraft, of course. YouTube family friendly. How you doing, man? How's life?
Trying to kick some ass here. I don't know, man. I don't know where to put my eyes anymore because we got the phase 4 PTR. Actually, like, I've been looking at the Paladin with like very saucy eyes here. I know you read and stuff, but like the Consecration Healing Rune, probably tomorrow I'm gonna be out there with Prot. I wanna see if I can farm all dungeons with that self-heal that they put in Consecration, bro. I think that's gonna be really busted.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I must say, like, you know, out of, you know, I have my complaints so far with week 1 PTR, and we're obviously going into second week starting tomorrow, which I find very interesting because they kind of been a little delayed with their updates, like doing things on. I know normally things are like on Tuesday, but now they're doing things either like weirdly on a Monday to a Wednesday. I don't know how they've been doing stuff anymore. They've been changing like every week, but in general though, I would say like, yeah, you know, Holy Paladin and self-healing prot Paladin, there's a lot of potential there in terms of like dungeon farming and, you know, going hard with those things. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I did the math. It is insane, like the potential to heal that thing has. They removed the healing per unit that you're hitting now, so it is just a flat 96 heal per second. But that's still an AoE. That's still really insane, though.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be very intriguing to see how we play around with different items, especially, you know, later on with like, you know, MC set bonuses in terms of how things are viable in terms of like self-healing overall. They changed a lot of things with like, you know, how like seals of light and wisdoms work and stuff, especially with like, you know, set bonus, you know, pieces in general. Overall though, I'm really happy that they're giving Holy Paladin support more than anything, because Holy Paladin deserved it 100%. So I'm really happy about that. And it's finally nice to see if Prot Paladin is going to be a solid tank, you know, overall in the future. Now, Rhett, that's a topic for a whole, who knows, you know. I'm a little right now on Rhett Paladin.
Yeah, like I've been hearing you guys want to use that Druid weapon now, the Sulfu Das is called. That Ragnaros throws a Druid weapon now, and for some reason Paladins want it. Like, can you explain that a little bit here?
You know what, man? Listen, at this point, dude, at this point, everything is a Druid weapon. All right. At this point, guys, listen. If you're a Druid, if you're playing any other class besides Druid right now, what are you doing? You know, you might as well. Everyone should be a Feral Druid. Everyone should be a Resto Druid. And at this point, bring in a fucking bear, because it seems like those 3 specs alone, if you just filled up an entire raid, you might be able to clear Molten Core with just the class itself, because everything's going to be a weapon. But all memes aside, I know I was laughing with a little bit with Evan Hart. Shout out to him. I was joking around, like, you know, just saying, hey man, this is a Paladin Shaman weapon with all due respect. But at the end of the day, like, I just want to see new legendaries. You know, I know Druids down the line are going to get ITS anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just want to see overall new legendaries.
And it's
I
such
think
a
that's
waste
something
too,
that a lot of
because
people want to see.
that thing has 80 DPS, brother. Like, yeah, the Bear Lacerate is gonna scale off weapon damage a little bit, but like, why would you waste, even if it's really good for a Druid? Like, it's not a big deal for us, but like for a Paladin getting an 80 DPS weapon on tier 1, that's insane. Or a Shaman or whatever, even a Warrior, even though it's fast. Like if I were a Loot Master and I play a Druid, this character that you're seeing right there is a Druid, okay? But like, I am never giving it to a Druid prior. That's insane. Like, it's such a valuable item for everybody else but a Druid.
It's just, you know, I like I said, I had that post, which is on Wowhead right now. There's an article that they put out a couple hours ago. I didn't have the time to see it, was knocked out. But it was a tweet that I had with Agron that is on Wowhead currently about, you know, basically a back and forth I had with Agron, and Agron basically said it himself too, that he doesn't handle how the items work. So I can totally understand that. Like, if you're not handling the item side of things, you're in control and responsibility of other area of the SoD development, no problem. But if you're not in control of it, can you tell the guy who's in control of it that Papatello would like the stats changed? But listen, even if they don't change it, it's fine. But could you tell that guy to come up with some cooler ideas as far as like newer legendaries? I think a lot of classes and specs would like to see, different things or different items we've never even seen in Molten Core, because, a lot of other creators have the same point, which I can understand, and people as well. We don't want to keep just doing the same old Molten Core over and over and over and over again if the name of the game is Season of Discovery. So let's actually do some discovering and find some cooler new items, and whether it's instances, new quest zones related to MC that we've never seen before that lead to new items, etc. Let's just see something new. That's all I'm asking
and like
for.
that take by Agren that like I don't control the balance of the items. Like, if you don't control the balance of the items, you don't control the balance of the classes. Like, the warrior is a stat stick with 2 legs. If you don't have any say on what the weapons are gonna look like it doesn't matter what you do with the warrior class, you're never gonna be balanced. Like, the items decide the performance of the classes, even or perhaps even more than the runes at this point. Like, if you're gonna be in charge of balancing the game, you gotta be in charge of balancing the items.
No, I 100% understand where you're coming from, because like at the end of the day, like the biggest thing I noticed with these Blizzard posts, especially from like Agron or the SoD team in general, is that you really got to pay attention to like the context of words of what they're saying and really like decipher what that means. Because like at the end of the day, I know Agron, he plays a Paladin, he plays Paladin as well. So he's aware of like what's the rights and wrongs and maybe things he wants to fix himself. I'm more than sure he is, and I'm sure the team is as well. But the thing is that, if you have a large majority or, people on forum posts in general of the community saying like, hey, like we want A, B, and C fixed, and then you're just not looking at those letters, they're like, yeah, but let's give you, a couple different letters in the alphabet. Try these out for a little while, but we'll come back to A, B, C at a certain time. That's not what the players are asking for. They want you to address what's going on right now and what's going to actually help out the game. And honestly, when you do that, it's going to keep the concurrent player base and people that left SoD wanting to come back to SoD, because they actually hear the developers are, in line, in touch with the community. And that's the biggest thing, is being in touch. 100%.
I think we're gonna know this Tuesday, like if this is actually a W or an L, because like this is my fear, because this happened in, for example, in BFA, where like in PTR day one everybody was saying Azeroth gear is beyond stupid, this is the worst system I've ever seen, and they did nothing about it. I sure do hope this PTR is not just some sort of marketing ploy and it's actually for testing the freaking game, and we get to see changes constantly. Like, of course, we got the content creator bias that we want people seeing the changes and people talking about the game constantly. Like as much as I complain and like we complain, we got a stake in this game succeeding. Like, if this game fails, we fail. Simple as that.
Oh no, of course, dude. I see. When it comes to like player side, like on the content creation where me and you are coming from, like I 1,000% understand where you're coming from on that, because at the end of the day, our careers with like even like the YouTube side of things, like we cover like this content for you guys, you know what I mean, the fan base, the people that enjoy consuming this, you're working a hard day work, and you want to hear something about a game you love, and we're covering this, and this is something that we love doing too, because we're players at the end of the day. We just like talking about the game. I would do this with any other game that I'm ever super passionate about, and I'm going to cover it the same exact way. And then when I see the company that's not, I guess, seeing the same amount of passion into the game, and we're covering that, like you can notice that, and it's like a little disheartening. It's like, it sucks. It's like, of course I want to see all the specs and classes be really good. Like, of course, like right now at the moment, like there's no reason why Warriors should feel the way they should be feeling right now. Warriors shouldn't be having to doom in the discords and go crazy.
But we got a hook, dude.
Yeah, well, bro, yeah, wait,
they
not cool hook, guy.
I'm missing
Took
half my
a tip
damage,
your
but I got a
damage.
hook, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's cool. You guys got dog shit rage generation, but it's all right. Give them a meat hook. It's like, oh, all right. What about the Paladin's gap closer? Settle down. Like, what's going on over here, dude? But listen, it's cool. I think it's a cool ability. I get the concept, but it's like, why like wasn't there a post on them a couple, I think it was like during phase 3, a blue post or something about Agron talking about rage normalization, how they were like, what are your thoughts on this? Remember that? And then the Warriors are like, no, we don't want this. And now we're looking at the damage basically getting cut in half, and we're looking at the rage issues that Warriors are having right now. And a lot of tests right now with test work, which is like the boss and the PTR for those who don't know, warrior damage is like basically bottom tier with Shadow Priests, and Hunters are getting no love either. So it's like there's a lot of specs and classes that are people just want answers to, and it's crazy because it's like it's all across the board. It's not just like, I know I'm the Paladin guy, and I always complain and bitch about Paladins, but that's what I do because I love covering my class, right? But it's a lot of classes. Mages have been asking things for several phases now. Warlocks, remember Affliction? Because I don't.
What's
Affliction doesn't exist.
What's that?
What's Affliction? Well, I don't even see it in the textbook.
Is that some
Where's
sort of
Affliction?
Korean food?
It might be. It might be. And put it on 350 degrees because it's cold right now. Get it hot because it has no heartbeat. It's literally right now. It's no such thing.
And
so
this
it's
phase,
like whatever happened to Affliction.
The only good rune they got, the Warlocks, this phase is a rune that gives you crit. That's for fire. So like it only got worse. They got no rune in Affliction.
And a Warlock has to depend on a Shadow Priest, which is no problem depending on other classes for like increases of like attack power, range power, spell power, right? Whatever. But like you're really hard depending if you're playing Affliction on a Shadow Priest. And like there was a video I was gonna make either today or tomorrow about like, even like tank situation in Molten Core, which is a topic for another hand. But like, what are locks gonna do and meta locks gonna do in there? Because they're claiming all tanks are gonna be good in there. But if they don't address like the fire resistance issues, what the hell is
they got a new ability that makes them resistant to magic depending on their armor, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I'm curious to see though, like if after everything is set in stone, also with the set bonuses that Warlocks will be getting, if they will find a place in this phase. Because right now, obviously, there's no need to be like, here's the thing. I think people too much right now are like on this doomer mentality. Is like, oh my gosh, week 1, this is what it's going to be for the rest of phase 4. And I think that's the wrong like mindset to go with. We have to judge it week by week, see the changes they actually implement, see if they fix Warriors, see if they fix Shadow Priests, answer issues with Hunters, and classes all along the line. You know what I mean? Like every class that has general things. Did you also see that they put the SoD form post for the PTR that people are writing on now too?
I think I saw it in Wowhead News, but I didn't actually go read it. I don't like going to the forums. I'm scared of those people.
I get a little scared too, but I put a forum post up myself, and I put like 5 main bulletins of like things I would love to see with Paladins in general. So I left because Agron, he put like a tweet there, so I put it up there. And I mean, I think the biggest thing what I can recommend to any player right now, if you want to like see some active changes, like leave a comment or make a thread on that forum post, especially that PTR post, and let those dudes over there at the SoD development team do the homework and handle it, because at the end of the day, it's their responsibility to make this game work. I mean, we can only cover so much. We can complain so much, us as the community. We can try to fight for, certain classes and specs, but it's their decision at the end of the day. And I think that's the best way of communication right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they are just going like doing big changes, which is they are necessary. A lot of them. Like, for example, on the Warrior, like, we've all been complaining the Warrior community. These percentage damage runes are going to be a huge problem at level 60. They are stupid. Why do we get percentage damage instead of getting a new ability? Give us AoE Whirlwind. Give us, I don't know, a new Mortal Strike. Something like that. Nobody would have complained about getting a new Mortal Strike. Everybody would have been happy. Even happier, I'd say. And like, it's not going to have this insane scaling problem that makes them impossible at level 60. But like now at level 60, Agron realizes that thing is not sustainable. And like they just took him away and gave us nothing else. Like every phase we got a new percentage modifier instead of getting a new ability. And now they realize that this is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where like some classes need, either percentage modifiers or something built in within an ability that adds a new effect but keeps the same effect as well, where it just enhances the ability. So, like I guess you can call it like an AKA improved Mortal Strike,
Yeah.
or an improved Execute, whatever you want to call it, but where it affects other things around the players or at a targeted player, depending on the stat and variable that you want to do, or just straight out, flat out, just adding a new rune or ability itself. But it comes to the point where, like, the biggest thing is that one, they have to test these things out. Two, they have to take serious consideration of what the players are saying about these abilities and how their class feels. And three, implement either improved changes on those things or flat out come out with something new, something further even new, even if it wasn't according to plan, come out with something new as well. Because at the end of the day, sometimes the answer is not taking out old things and replacing it with new. That's what they're doing right now with Paladins. I know Horn of Lordaeron, they just straight up said, screw that, take it out, they did the same thing with Enlightened Judgments. They just said, you know what, screw that, take it out. That might not be the answer all the time, but sometimes it is. I think it's handled on a class by class basis. My biggest curiosity is, I'm wondering who and how many people are working on all these classes,
Very
and
few.
have they played very few, and like are they actually playing these classes with like 100% understanding of the class itself? You know what I mean?
That's
Like
my
that's where I'm
gripe.
like, that's my gripe too, and like I'm a little concerned about that because it's like I don't know if these people are genuinely, and it's no hate. Like I don't hate the person. It's just it's the decision making which I dislike, and I think that's we can all agree with that. We want to see cool things with our classes and new things. It's season of discovery, after all. Let us see some new shit. I think that's the key thing. We want to see new. But unfortunately now we're seeing like things here and there that are just making people disappointed and turning a lot of people into doomer mindsets right now where they think SoD is just dead. I can understand it, but like I think we just give it another week and another week, because at this point that's what they said. They're going to change the PTR each week, right? So we have to see what they're changing each week and if they're actually listening.
I don't think
That's all
this
I
is
got to say on
beyond
that.
saving. Like, don't get me wrong. I think these changes are very bad, but I don't think it is beyond saving. Like, if we see
Yeah, of
in
course.
Tuesday that they make a bunch of changes and they address a bunch of the problems that we're pointing out, I think my fate is gonna skyrocket on like the trajectory of this. But like the problem why I've been saying that I wanted a PTR for so long is that there is 28 specs in the game. Okay, so normal players
Yeah.
like Blizzard employees, okay, let's assume they play the game. I hope they play the game. Like they play maybe one, maybe two characters, that's two specs. So like if every
Yeah.
employee that is in charge of the balance plays two specs, you need like what, 14 employers in the balance that play a different spec every single one of them to fix it.
Yeah.
Like if you look at what they did with the cat from the very beginning, it's very clear they do not play cat. I don't think a single Blizzard employee that is in charge of the balance is playing cat right now. Like they don't understand how that
Yeah.
spec works.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not sure where they were doing with Feral Druids for a while, because they were just taking a middle to back seat for the longest. And it's nice to have them still, because obviously utility. You get your battle reses, you get your wild strikes. I get that, your Mark of the Wilds, etc. But in general, yeah, they took a backseat, and right now, like I know I was memeing earlier in the in the podcast, but like I'm just saying to you right now, Druids they're about to take over. If this
Oh
is
yeah.
where we're heading, Druids are going to take over. And I don't think the Druid, like even with like weekly changes, if no one like, because I don't think any Druids right now are really, and I don't know if anybody in the comments below wants to say anything. At the end of the day, if Druids are complaining about certain things, I'm curious more about what it is, because right now I'm seeing Druids on top on a lot of the testing meters. Druids are eating right now in all areas. So I think that's going to stay consistent with Phase 4 being released. And who knows? I don't know if any changes will come. Maybe something in the PTR, but then again, we just have to wait and see.
Taylor,
We just
you're
have
in
to wait
charge
and
of
see.
your guild, right? You're in charge of the recruitment of your guild, the rosters, stuff like that, right?
I help with the recruitment of my guild. Yeah, I help with the
Okay, make
recruitment
sure
of
you
my
don't get
guild.
a bear tank because you're never gonna see Sulfuras again. Like by the way we're looking at
Dude,
it,
that's funny.
not the cat, the bear with Sulfuras is gonna be like the second best DPSer in the game by the numbers we're seeing. It's
And it's
terrifying.
crazy. You're not even gonna see it on his back. You're not even gonna see the weapon. You're
Yeah.
just gonna see a fucking bear, and that is a lot of nerve. That's my fight right now with one of my guild boys, one of my friends. I be because he's a hard druid main. And I tell him like, there's no shot you're getting that item, not in this. But honestly, at the end of the day, like I would love to see at this point, if druids want to rock it, screw it, rock it. Like I said, I just want to see new legendaries if that happens. So I'll leave it
And
at
like
that.
it's even worse because they are gonna scale a weapon procs. Like, do you see they are gonna scale with Crusader Enchant? They are gonna scale with Sulfuras proc. They are gonna work with presumably Hand of Justice. The extra Wind Fury that you get on the trinket. They are gonna be insane tier 1. There is so much procs and stuff in tier 1 that are like super overtuned.
Oh yeah.
They are gonna need a touch up. I hope they are not too broken, because when a class is too broken on one phase, unless you're the shaman, that doesn't count for the shaman. That's the exit.
Well, yeah, shamans right now, dude. Right now the big thing with shamans is just Ellie shaman. Ellie shaman's the only thing that is really eating right now. I really think enhanced two hand enhanced. I always mix up that word, but I know my boy Sky over there at the Comeback Kids, he's been making forum posts about two hand hands as well. And how like they really need support, like there's hasn't been really true support for two hand enhanced shaman, and they're really looking
They don't
forward to
have
seeing if
runes.
there's any going to be any benefits. Yeah, it's the thing is like it's funny. I feel like a lot of the shamans and paladins, we share a lot of things more than we bicker and batter about. At the end of the day, we have issues, and I think a lot of specs and classes just have issues, and we just got to hope these things get addressed. So like I said, we'll give each week of this PTR a chance. But at the end of it, if nothing is answered for any of our classes and there's no hard consideration or thoughts about it, that might lead to a couple videos I'm not going to be too happy about making. I'll be honest with you, because I don't want to be a douchebag about things, but it's not the player's fault. It's just the development team's fault, to be honest.
Well, yeah, like if you look at the shaman, of course, like I make that joke because they were the best tank, no question about it, for 3 phases in a row. But like it's very clear they went too far with the nerfs. Like people are saying that some Sunken Temple parsers are doing more damage than level 60 shamans right now in the PTR. The enhancement people.
Insane.
That's insane.
That's insane.
And I believe it because they lost like 20% attack power.
Yeah, that's not right. I mean, right now, dude, like it's this weird balance of scaling with things where it's like you can look at retail right now, for example, right? And I'm not trying to like, say, well, retail's doing it perfectly. But what I'm saying is, for example, you can look at retail right now, and if you look at a lot of the statistics between all the specs, you could see a nice gradual line. This is something I've been talking about for like months, where now at this point, and you could see a statistical line. And I was talking about this with Sky, and Sky's the one who showed me this actually. And he was like, if you look at the line, everything is like, every spec is viable. You could play every spec. And you don't need to feel like, oh, well, this player is playing a specific spec. He's not allowed to the raid. He's not coming.
At
to the
worst,
raid.
is like 5% less. Like the skill is way more important.
Exactly. And I think one of my biggest concerns right now with SoD is that you're going to see a spec that's just either not that good or not that viable, and you're just going to ignore them. You know what I mean? This happened with Paladins back in the day too. Nobody would want to rep Paladin in the raid. They would just want a Holy Paladin. You know what I mean? You want Holy Paladin. That was all you want back in the day.
And the debuff slots, thank God they are not there anymore, because that thing screwed you so bad.
Yeah, so like I just think at this point, at time, I really feel like, it's really important to pay attention to detail for every single slot of every single spec, and try to really, you don't need to make, obviously at the end of the day, there's going to be a king, right? There's always going to be a person who's just above all. This happens with warriors, warriors usually at the end of the day, with the right plating, the world buffs, the gear, they always come out on top. And hey, listen, at the end of the day, when you're busting your ass trying to get all those pieces to make an optimal class, because it ain't easy for warrior getting the drop rates, especially back in the days where, yeah, you know what I mean? And the amount of gold cost, which that's a whole nother discussion of like inflation, right? But at the end of the day, I gotta give warriors credit. They deserve that damn spot. But at the end of the day, don't make it to the point where it's like, okay, well, just because a shadow priest is like really bad right now, they shouldn't be allowed to the raid. No, like that's the problem. And it's like, let's fix these classes and let's get them all to a point where we could try to find proper balance, which I know that word is really hard for Blizzard to understand, but proper balance overall in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. It is just so weird looking at, because it's never gonna be a straight line in Classic. because we gotta take into account utility. Like if the cat is doing the same damage as a normal DPSer, as a good DPSer, but he also has Wind Fury and Mango, and actually the Wind Fury is even better than normal Wind Fury, and they got the attack power buff, leader of the pack. Like if they are doing the same damage, it's not gonna be balanced. But like when you're looking at classes that are doing half the damage of other classes, how do you look at that? And I think it's okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's like I almost want to know like if the SoD team, like if they ever did testing raids and they're actually looking like, and I'm not trying to say like that everything's based on meters, but like just doing your testing and actually looking, because you kind of got to look at that. You know what I mean? It's like it's there, it's in front of you. You have to see like what's going on the meters on your end, on like whether they have like a dev kit of WoW, whatever private version of WoW that they play on the dev side, you know what I mean, to test things out and look like, okay, well, it's blatantly obvious warrior issues are happening right now. It's blatantly obvious hunters are getting hit right now from the changes we did. It's blatantly obvious that shadow priests are not doing, pretty good right now. And there's other classes that are also underperforming. So like we have to address these things and, actually start listening to our community before it's eventually too late.
I don't know if they do this, but like it would be so easy with the tools they got to just code a bot that plays the rotation perfectly and like take a look at that and see how much the damage is doing. Like in an afternoon, you can balance out the numbers of a class. It's not that hard. And of course, like then players are going to discover a new build or always like that. I believe that. But like when you look at these damage differences, it's very evident that they didn't test anything.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's almost to the point where like I'm wondering, and I think I know the answer to this already, and I think other people are aware of this as well, that we're just basically the guinea pigs of this PTR. Like we're the testing.
I'm happy with that.
Either they, you know what I mean? Like we're the testing that they're getting their answers from, and they're too busy and swamped with other pieces of work, aka Kata, aka trying to help out maybe with Mop or do things with the War Within, whatever else they're working on, and they're just too overburdened to the point where that's why they mentioned on that Twitter post to Hammerdance about longer PTR weeks, because depending on how long that PTR is, this is a major concern to talk about, is that you have a lot of things going on right now in terms of what's going to be happening from June, July, August. The big Summer Festival game show was just announced. A lot of games are coming out around the corner. Elden Ring DLC is dropping in 4 days, which I'm really excited about. We're both excited
Time to
about,
kick some ass
as players. Exactly. I'm very excited for that. So I'm heavily going to be playing that. And during this time frame, if you're saying a couple weeks, does that mean like we're not going to see Phase 4 until July? Because if that's the case, then War Within's only a month away.
Yeah,
a lot of players are going to move to the War Within, believe it or not.
By the wording that Agren told Hammerdance on Twitter, he said first few weeks. That implies to me that it is at the very least 3 weeks. At the very least.
Yeah, it's just a little shocking to me, because I know Evan was talking. Evan Hart TV was talking about maybe we see something on the 27th of this month, but that just changed when Agren mentioned that. So it's like a couple weeks is a little crazy.
I think he did a Freudian slip.
Yeah, I honestly think, and this is something he wants to avoid, and I understand that too. But it's like hard to like avoid certain things with wording when it comes to the community, because like the community is always going to read the context of lines and figure something out. And when you said a couple weeks, that's like now in people's head is like, all right, well, I get to just do my thing and just not play War Within, and just basically not play War Within when it comes out, or play other games and then ignore SoD in the meantime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, as am I muted? Oh, I didn't. My microphone didn't come in for a second.
No, you're good. You're good.
There you go.
You're good.
This year is kind of way too packed. I think it's like the Blizzard employee that has to decide when things come out is having a really hard time making everything fit in a good window, because like dropping something at the right time is so important for gaming, like dropping a good game a month differently in like between, even if the game is really good, if you're competing with another big launch that is coming out the same day, you're gonna have a really hard time. And like trying to feed in Cataclysm, Retail, and Classic, and Mob, and Hardcore, or whatever the hell they want to do next, or whatever. Like, there's only so much time in a year.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna be having, I think over time, the more products they keep releasing, we're gonna have to look at like more and more awkward release dates for Classic, and that kind of sucks.
No, yeah, it's really concerning, and I really hope that we don't see things interrupt the the development and the initial release of phase 4, because I really feel like Season of Discovery is something that a lot of people overall through its ups and downs have enjoyed for the most part. Phase 1, phase 2, we really had some really good times going on during those phases, even though obviously phase 2 had its issues, of course, you know what I mean. But overall, like the hype of SoD was there, and now as of then compared to now, the hype of SoD has been dwindling and has been more concerning than it is overall hype. And I really hope that they give a proper release time for this next phase, because if it's out to a point where it's too late, there's going to be a lot of player base. When if you offer them something new, they're going to jump to something new. You know what I mean? And it's going to take a lot of players from one side to the other end. It's just the way how it works naturally.
I call it the Rick and Morty effect, Like, I remember when, like, season 3 it came out. I don't know, I watched every episode when it came out, and they took, like, a 2 or 3 year hiatus or something. I never watched the show again. I mean, I thought it was good, but I stopped caring. That's the problem when you do this stuff. A lot of people are going to stop caring.
No, exactly. It's like if you give a reason for people to stop caring about something, they're gonna care about it. Like, what's the point for that individual to care about something if you're giving them a reason not to care about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're basically saying like, oh, well, we're going to be releasing all these versions of WoW, and this is kind of what happened. And it gave them kind of like, I guess, a self-excuse for them to work on other projects. Now, whether they were unaware about them working on Kata at the time, or this was just something that was slapped on their desk and said, hey, let's try this out. You know what I mean? It wasn't part of like the initial roadmap. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of hype at BlizzCon. If you remember a while back, like BlizzCon was like so hyped. They were talking about possible Scarlet Monastery,
the launch was so big. The hype was insane.
It was so big. It was insane, so like there was such like juicy information being discussed about, and it was like, okay, well, I'm really hyped. You're really getting us a lot excited, and I'm not trying to feed off nostalgia or whatever it is, but you're saying that we're about to discover all these new things in SoD, and now fast forward all the way to June of halfway through the year, and we're like, fuck, I feel a little bamboozled. Not to be rude, but I feel a little lied to. I'm not gonna lie, and it's not to say that the game's not totally great and all, because obviously I'm still having fun with it, but it's not what I expected. It's more of a test, which I think it is. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's more of season of testing rather than discover. And who knows? If nothing comes out working good with this, PTR, I'm gonna be a little disappointed overall. Just to keep it frank with you.
Yeah, like, one point that I wanted to make for a while is that when I say I am losing faith in SoD Phase 4 because of bad changes, I think the concept of Season of Discovery hit it on the park. Like, the long-term faith that I got on the Warcraft franchise after Season of Discovery is immense, because, like, if you iterate on this a couple times, like, you're gonna have a very sustainable long-term experience here. Like, I think you can do this thing every year and a half, every 2 years, and like there's a lot of people that are going to be hyped for it. But I think we got a little rug pulled. We were promised a Scarlet Monastery raid. We were promised Karas and Crypts. Do you think we're still going to get them?
I'm going to be honest with you, brother. I don't know if we're going to be getting Karazhan Crypts anytime soon. I think possibly we will be. I'm not saying it's out of the line, the deck of cards just yet. But I don't think we're going to get Karazhan Crypts until some point after the War Within is like out, or a little bit further down the line. And that's a little bit of my concern too, where it's like how much player retention and how much data compared to the charts of like players are going to be playing War Within content, how much more YouTube feedback that's going to get, how much more eyes on Twitch and YouTube or Kick or whatever other streaming platforms it's going to get. I'm really that's where my main focus and priority is right now, because it's like, if War Within takes over the planet and it's actually really good, if it's good, SoD is not going to be in a state where it's like super hyped. It'll be, a casual scene, and people will still be playing it and looking forward to coming back. You might see people, giving a little hype every time, a SoD announcement happens and it's actually good, but it won't be in its concurrent, like, okay, this game is juicy every day, every time, every moment, stated like it once was. You know what I mean? That's how I'm feeling right now.
I think it's even going to make it harder for Agrend, because if War Within does very well, Agrend is going to have a much harder time going to management and saying, can we get 2 more employees so we don't have to work 14 hours a day? And they're going to be like, yeah, but we're putting money in this War Within thing and it's kicking your ass, so we're not going to do that, Like, there's got to be like some sort of competition in between the sectors of WoW that's going to make it harder for them.
Oh, I agree. 100%. I mean, we just have to wait and see at this point. I mean, right now, I think a lot of us as creators and the players, it's the waiting game right now. And it's basically do other things and play other things type of angle at the moment, because there's only so much stuff you could do in the PTR. There's only so much pre-prep you can do with the current phase that we're in on Season of Discovery in Phase 3. And at this point, it's basically all eyes on the dev team. What are you guys going to give to us in the next couple weeks, if this is the information that you gave us in the next couple weeks for the next phase? And are we going to see active things happening during this PTR? Because if not, I'm not going to lie to you, I think you're going to put the nail in the coffin finally. Yeah, I think you're going to put the nail in the coffin after a while. And this is me coming from a point of view, because I'm never on the doomer mindset where I'm always like, SoD's dead, SoD's trash, SoD's been dead. There's a lot of people like that troll and comment, and I get that part. I've been a part of the train myself where, like, I'm trying to hype SoD. I'm always standing behind it. I'm locking it in. You know how I am, with the culture. But it's only so much I can do, to the point where after a while you have to accept the realization that they're not giving back to us, and eventually, you lay it down. It just is what it is, and I don't want it to get to that point, but we have to see. I think right now the biggest thing for me is that each week, like each Tuesday to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm curious to see the blue post and PTR changes. That's what I'm like living for right now in terms of World of Warcraft stuff.
Yeah. It's just. I think this is a pivotal moment. Like you said, you don't want to be dramatic. I'm gonna be a little dramatic here. This week is gonna be a pivotal moment. We either see them do stuff for the PTR, or we see Season of Discovery lose all the hype. I think honestly, like dropping the PTR so early, even though if there might be a very good reason for testing, you want to get as much testing as possible. But this could very well be what kills it, like if you stretch out the PTR for a month, you're gonna kill the hype of the game. That's very worrying.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, you're not wrong, dude. At the end of the day, like, I mean, everybody feels a certain way about it, and they're giving themselves like to a certain point where it's like a breaking point where like that's it, you had enough. I know a lot of people I've seen even in my comment section, they'll be like, yo Tello, I love your videos, man. Like, I think you bring a lot of good energy to the the industry, but overall, man, SoD is it's just not fun anymore. Me and my guild, we fell off. People's guilds are dying. People are getting bored of the game. It's getting stale. They're moving on to other things. And I see these comments a lot too. You know what I mean? And it just happens. Why would you want to give money to something where it's not giving you something investing in return? And you're not getting the same love and treatment that you're putting into the game, and then you're not getting something out of it. It's like, I can understand why people would want to cancel their sub into a certain point. I get it. I totally get it. Me, I'm just riding it out, but I understand the player base. I'm in tune with that.
Oh yeah, like even in my guild we can see that like getting the rosters full has been a lot harder every week, and like I understand my raid leader position of like we can take a break, because when you take a break then you gotta build the roster again from zero, and that's even worse, But like a lot of people that are trying to keep the momentum going, they are having a hard time.
Oh, it's bad, bro. It's real bad. I think I mentioned this in my VODs too, where I'm like, me and my guild, we're not doing anything right now. We've been on a hiatus. We've been on a break. We were not disbanded or anything, but we've been on a hard break, and we're not doing raids anytime soon because we're just sick and tired of this phase. We're over it. And then the same thing's going on in my horde end. I've been playing over there, and we kind of been just like over raiding over there too. It's not just something that's like, oh, it's only tied to one server. No, I think it's a people thing. We're realizing that there's nothing else really to do. The Sunken Temple loot itself was not all that too exciting, and we're ready for new and better things, and hopefully better things after this PTR is over.
Yeah, I think I always say like always overbook, never turn recruitment off, and like it's moments like this that show you why you never gotta stop recruiting because when the player base hits a slump and a bunch of people quit, you get shafted. You run out of gas so fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, there's only so much in the tank. You know what I mean? There's only so much that a person can take after a while, and it is what it is. We got to look forward to the better, the future. That's the only thing that we can look forward to. So yeah, as a lot of people would say, even like in many of the class discords, it's a lot of copium going on. I'm not gonna lie to you, coach. It's a lot of copium, and we're breathing through the oxygen masks right now, and we're just hoping and praying. But man, right now is it a fire? I'll tell you
The
that, and
warrior
we're just gotta
subreddit
bear
is
with it.
hilarious. Like they're like, oh, they took half our crit away, but don't worry, we're gonna hit 44% crit anyway. When's the last time you heard a warrior saying we have enough crit?
Yeah.
I never heard that in my life. It's the first time I heard that in my life, brother. I think we have enough crit. Said nobody ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it just gets to the point where it's like, this is getting a little ridiculous, you know. Overall, I just think the design choices and decision making over there at the dev team, it needs to have some serious investment. And I think even a while back, remember when we had our original podcast when Jake was there, and Jake
Yeah,
even
phase
brought that
3.
up, like yeah, when Jake brought up, like having actual players that play the classes, know the classes, make and help decision making with these devs that work on these classes themselves is something that's pivotal to helping design a better class, because like these are the people that are testing your specs on a daily basis for over 10 hours a day, probably even longer for like serious players. And like, they know what's good and what's wrong with the class. A lot of people that, experts of their class, they know the ins and outs and what's wrong. Either they've been a long time fan of WoW and they played all versions of World of Warcraft and they know all the history about their class, or they've only been a hardcore original vanilla Andy, they still know their class. So I feel like, it's something really important to just listen. Even if they don't like listen to key players, that are really good at their class, just listen to the community in general. If you see a common thing, pick that up and say, oh, well, you know what, maybe rage generation right now is a fucking problem. You know what I
Even if
mean? Maybe
something's strong, it doesn't mean it's not stupid. Like when we got like 45% extra damage on warriors, like everybody thought it was stupid. Even though it was good, it was stupid. Like even those kind of takes help. But like I think Jake made a great point back then, and he said the guy in charge of making the warrior simulator, the sim DPS, that guy knows more about the combat system of the game than any employee at Blizzard ever. And like I absolutely believe that. Like if they really wanted to fix this stuff, they would just get like 3 people that do that stuff and like get them together in a room and like watch it go. I don't think it would be that hard to theory craft, because no matter how competent the people in the team are, there's always something they are gonna miss. Don't you think it's a little weird that every time the new phase comes out, almost every spec is played in a way that they do not intend? Like, did they intend the warrior stacking every single percentage damage instead of taking raging blow? Did they intend warlock going fire and stacking crit instead of taking spell power, stuff like that?
No, yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it's like I sometimes wonder too where they do these things like, and this is just conspiracy theory talk at this point, to be honest with you, before I continue, but I think sometimes they do this stuff on purpose just to get a reaction.
Oh yeah.
Either like they genuinely know this is going to cause a stir up, therefore it equals clicks, it equals views, it equals more targeted marketing back to
Keep
their
people
end,
talking.
and they just to keep people talking, and they genuinely know that they got to fix this because they make a mistake and then they change it and things are better again. Now the change is sometimes only basically a band-aid change instead of an actual patch, like a really good patch. But I mean, I don't even know. I don't want to like pick straws and say like that's what they're doing, but sometimes that's just something that scrambles in the back of my head, and I'm like, you know what? Something just seems a little off here, and I wonder if this is on purpose or not, or they're just BSing us around. But who knows?
There was like a panel by Ion Hasicostas a while ago where he made a decent point. I agree with this. That like he said that sometimes they will buff or nerf something more than they should, just because like the stigma in the community of a class is so strong that they need to break it. Like for example, back when vanilla or feral druids were terrible, they had to make them super overpowered in TBC so people would actually like the community would stop thinking they were terrible. Like they were bad and they put them in like good, but like they weren't insanely broken, so the community still thought they were bad.
Yeah.
And like on the flip side of that, like I made my video, the water got a 65% nerf because they got a 65% nerf. And like yeah, they fix it next week, but like how many people are gonna not play because they just saw that video and like never found out that they buffed it again? Even if I make a video that said the water got a buff the next day, like how many people are gonna see it? Like, is everybody that heard? Like those things stick. There's like when you do something that's really dumb, that thing has lasting damage in perceptions.
No, you're right. Honestly, when you make something that makes people disappointed, it's not something that's easily something you can come back from, because it's just showing where the lack of care is for things, and it gets people really upset and disappointed, and you already left your stain and the mark, and now people are just going to be like, you know what, I don't like the way this tastes, I'm out of here. You let me know when it's good again and I'll come back at a later time. And that's where I think a lot of the player base right now is at, where it's like, why am I going to waste my time with this game when I could go play something else that's working, it's fun, and it's enjoyable. Therefore I'm just going to unsub and just move on from now until things happen. And I totally get it, I understand, that it's just, that's normal. It's definitely understandable. If something's not working well for you, you're not going to want to stick with it, right? You're just going to want to move on.
And when you unsub, it's like, that's the ultimate barrier of entry, because to convince people to sub again, that's like a whole nother hill they gotta climb again. Like keeping people, customer retention is so important. Keeping somebody in the game is so much easier than making people come back to it.
Oh no, dude, 100%. Like I think at the end of the day, it's like if you want to keep your player base, give the active updates, give the active community feedback, have more people on the team. I know it's something that they say they had a small team working on season
I
discovery,
believe
and then
it.
it blew up and didn't expect this, right? We all believe it. But if you look at the comparison of even Wowhead alone compared to Wowhead retail and Wowhead SoD, there are multiple blue posts a day on retail. Every single day, a change, a patch, an update, a note, a discussion, a post. Retail's player base is a lot bigger than people think. And the SoD blue post before PTR was just slow. Maybe here and there. Maybe we get a tweet. Maybe we get a post. And it goes to show you, it's like there's so much heavy development over here, and there's nothing going on over here. And it's like they need more support. I truthfully still think they need more people on the team, to be honest with you.
Do you
Not gonna
think there
lie.
is more people working at Wowhead Classic than a Season of Discovery right now? I think there are. I think Wowhead has more contributors in Classic than the team has to make Classic.
It's very well possible. I mean,
That would be
I'm not too
insane.
sure.
That would be
That would
hilarious.
be nut. That would be nuts. But I mean, then again, it could be the same people. I wouldn't be surprised. Like it's like they're just used for everything at this point. You know what I mean? They're just being literally used for every single thing possible, and it is what it is. They're just trying to make do with what they can, and they're using even us right now to test everything out to see what ideas they have on paper. Now, whether they tested ideas out themselves and they tried on their dev side of things, they already know answers that are things that need to be fixed, and they're just waiting to see if we replicate and say the same thing. That's completely on them. But at the end of the day, listen, I'm gonna keep it honest with you, and excuse my French, I don't think we give a fuck. Just give us some changes each week, and let's go from there. And let's see what we're working with. We're ready to play SoD. Simple as that. Lock it in. Simple as
For
that.
the sake
Enough said.
of being fair here, a week hasn't passed yet. Okay, I am willing to give them a period of grace here. Like if by I don't know Wednesday we don't see any big changes happening, that's when I'm gonna think this is gonna head down the drain really fast. Also, I wanted to bring up something here. I brought the Red Paladin. It's time to do it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I messed up my OBS here. Give me a second. Crap.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I suck at this.
Nah, it's fine, dude. I suck at stuff too when it comes to OBS. Also, my headset kept beeping. I was like, "What's going on?" That's why I was trying to plug my charger in. I just got this new headset because I threw my other one. Much love to it.
Oh, there we go. I'm stupid. That's why. Okay, it's working just fine. All right, so here's the new version of Sulfuras. You cannot see it, but I'm pretty sure you saw it anyway. So I guess it's time to talk about it. So it has the same DPS as the old Sulfuras, which I think probably not the greatest idea. I don't know, what was the DPS of a 200 in Sunken Temple? Do you got any idea?
What, for like a two-hander DPS and Sunken Temple for Rep Paladin?
Yeah, like what's your weapon DPS right now?
It's been a minute since I looked at the stats themselves, but I know usually for I think for white numbers, it was anywhere. I would say between the 2 to 4 range, depending on a high white crit. What's the damage on Hand of Rag right now? Because I don't have it in front of me. I gotta look at it.
Well, Hand of Rag is at 80 DPS, and the swing damage is 229 to 382.
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking here. What's your best in slot weapon? I don't know the name, but.
Well, the best in slot right now is Solthraz. Solthraz is the best in slot, two-hander, and the crowd pummeler as well. Believe it or not.
Oh, that means that whoever is working on Wowhead right now messed up because it's not on the list. I don't know. Let's take a look at Feast of the Forsaken for it. Oh, this is Paladin DPS and it's 100. What?
No, it wouldn't be that. Let me look. I could tell you right now.
Solthraz the Lasher, right?
Yeah, Solthraz the Lasher is the best rep Paladin two-hand besides crowd pummeler right now. Yeah. So basically, right now it's about 125 damage overall. Because I thought you were talking about just in raid damage, but if we're talking about just weapon damage, anywhere between 84 to 125 at a 2.0 swing speed, and then the crowd pummeler was yeah, it's super fast. So 46 to 70 with the crowd pummeler, and then you would use the haste buff. But the difference is that's when Art of War was broken, and now Art of War is completely shafted. There's no more exo spam build with paladins. So now it's caused a divide between paladins where we don't know whether we want to just either seal twist or people want exo spam back. So that's the discussion.
So they put it in the game for one phase and they took it away again.
Yeah, I mean, basically it's just gone. It's just dead in the water. So I'm really concerned on what they're gonna do. I think it would be best to let both playstyles just have both playstyles. What's wrong with that? I mean, what the hell are we doing? But it is what it is at the end of the day. Now they even, and what I don't understand too, one thing I really wish, what I don't get is that why are they just not letting people test the 6-piece molten core sets? Like, just let people test those 6-piece sets. Maybe they do that later on before the PTR ends, and we get an idea of what we're going to be getting. Because as a Paladin, that 6-piece ret set is fucking insane. It might be insane. We don't know, though, because it has the ability to activate 2 seals at once, and it's basically easier seal twisting. You know what I mean? Like, easy seal twist. I don't know, but all I'm saying is it's just like, you got to let people test out the 6-piece sets to see if their class kind of turns online or not. Because if not, people are not really getting a good idea in the future of what's going to happen.
I mean, hopefully they
My
are
opinion.
staggering the releases of stuff on the PTR to build up hype. That would be a reasonable thing to do. You know, that they are just dropping new stuff every week to like test different stuff to like keep people talking about it. I don't know if they're gonna let us test it because like they didn't let us test the best gear in the PTRs of other expansions. Like the PTR of Cataclysm, for example, it was all 359. That's the best you could get. So
Yeah. I just, the thing is, like, I'm just hoping for things different this time around, and maybe it's too much to hope for. Understandable, you know what I mean? Not everything's gonna be perfect. Jeez, I'm freaking stuttering right now. Apologies. But
don't worry, bro.
unbelievable. But yeah, it's like I'm shooting a Tello video right now. Unreal. But fucking, I just really hope, for, basically something big that can happen, and if something big happens, during the PTR testing, and we could see classes come online once they get these 6-piece sets and these things are beneficial to them, then people might change their mind about things. But the way people are reading certain things right now, it just doesn't look pretty. And like, for example, this Hand of Ragnaros, I'm going to be honest, this looks like it's going to have a Druid Prio written all over it more than, Paladin and Shaman.
Like if you look at
358
it, it's
is insane.
yeah, like I was gonna show that right now. Like if you look at the best in slot Sunken Temple 1, like you know how people complain that the Sunken Temple loot was basically Nomeregan loot? This thing was like 20 more attack power than the Crowd Pommeler that we got in 30 more attack power than the Crowd Pommeler we got in Nomeregan. People can see it on the screen right now, the Sunken Temple weapon. I still don't have it and I don't care. Like because it's 30 more attack power. Like it doesn't I don't give a damn. But like take a look at this. 358. This is more than triple the attack power. That's such an insane upgrade. And I don't think it's going to be that big a deal for a cat, mind you, because the cat doesn't really have to scale with weapons. But the weapon damage of this thing on 80 DPS, Blaster 8 scales with the weapon damage, we may very well see that the Bear becomes the most highest threat tank in the game right now. Like that's going to be like bonkers.
I agree. I totally agree, dude. I think that this is gonna make bear druids look scary,
terrifying.
And even in PvP alone, I just think druids are a menace in PvP as well. PvE aside, even and I will say, like, the chance on hit and the equip effect, like looking at it from like a paladin perspective, like I do like that type of stuff because any type of procs usually will help proc vengeance for a ret paladin, which is really nice, which basically increases our physical damage done with holy over time, and it's really nice. But overall, though, the biggest thing that I like from this weapon is that they did increase the swing speed from 3.70 originally to 3.80. So that is nice. They gave like +2 fire resistance. Like, okay, whatever on that part.
I think that's also going to be an argument for tanks, though. Think about it. Like, who needs fire resistance the most? I don't want to lobby against you. I also think this is stupid, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm a bear and I don't want it.
You are right.
But like,
no, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be really, really annoying to negotiate with the guild. I don't want to look at the guy that has to decide that in my guild. Oh no.
I know it's a weird situation, honestly, because it's like the way I'm looking at this, like if they're making such a big deal about turning up the heat, so to say, which we haven't talked about that yet, heat activation level, which whether I guess this is now a heroic version of Molten Core ×2 because there's heat, activate to level 2, then activate to level 3, and then you have the initial level 1, which is the regular Molten Core. This weapon definitely is more than likely going to go to a lot of more tank-based classes. And in particular, the bear, the druid bear. So, the guardian role. So in general, I just think Yeah, it's gonna suck for some guilds making this decision, but who knows? At the end of the day, nothing's final. We got to see what happens in the next couple weeks before they make any announcements or any changes with the PTR. We don't know.
I don't know, like the whole fire and heroic thing. Who the hell asked for this? Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Who wants heroic mode in vanilla? The whole point of Season of Discovery is that it's easy. Like I get it. I thought BFD was too easy, but like, dude, like, come on. Like, if I want to do easy impossible stuff, I will go back to Cataclysm. Like, there's a reason I'm not progressing heroic anymore. I gave up. It's too hard. I don't want to wipe on something for 4 hours.
No, yeah, the thing is that the biggest thing about World of Warcraft at the end of the day is how every expansion challenged the new players and how it made things not to say more difficult, but more overall realizing that you're going to be facing a bigger threat in each expansion. You know what I mean? And how you go about it through the phases overall. But at the end of the day, I don't know if a lot of players asked for this. I know players wanted it, but I do think, Season of Discovery is catered towards more the casual side. In my opinion, at least, yes, it is an optional thing. Of course, you don't need to do it, right? You don't need to. It's just completely optional. But the fact that there will be better loot and better gear locked behind those things is in a way by itself, by definition, gatekeeping access to bigger and better items from the community. Now, how the community handles that, of course, you're going to have one side that is going to be super like heavy on parsing or super casual and chill. However, once again, completely optional. I don't know if a lot of people even asked for heroic based things. In my personal opinion, I was talking about this too with my friend, and I was saying, like, I don't know if I want to see heroic, level content within Season of Discovery. I don't think anybody wants to play hard content. Now, challenging's fine. Challenging is fine. I don't think there's nothing wrong with challenging content, but if it's hard to the point where it's like unbearable and you're going to stay there for 4 or 5 hours, nobody wants that. If you want to do that, go play Mythic Plus and retail. There's tons of hard content there. Hard content, not challenging, hard.
And can you imagine just like with how annoying wiping is? Because like in Cataclysm, you wipe and you go back to the boss in a second, and you got mass resing. Can you imagine resing every single person individually and wiping on something for 4 hours? Oh my god.
Yeah, and also like one of the biggest I think bad poor design choices when it came to Phase 3 was like Sunken Temple. How the fact there's no portals to each boss. You put portals in BFD. You had things in Nomer. What happened to Sunken Temple? Most of Sunken Temple, the reason why people don't like it as well, it's not because of the bosses. It's because of how much trash is in there.
They put
there was
double
a lot
trash.
of trash.
There is so much in normal Sunken Temple.
Yeah, it's insane how much trash is in Sunken Temple that you have to go through in order to get to these bosses. And I'm a firm believer of like, why do we have to keep going through this trash? If you already completed the raid once, I am a firm believer of like you should be able to have a portal to access these bosses that you could just go after the bosses and you don't need to clear the trash. If your guild has successfully cleared the raid, you shouldn't have to deal with optional trash. Just go and fight the bosses and have fun with that instead of dealing with the trash over and over and over. You already defeated the enemies of Sunken Temple. We've already defeated the enemies of Nomergon. We've already defeated the enemies of BFD. So why should we have to always go and run a massive maze to these bosses? It's just weird, stupid design. Like, yeah, I get you get nightmare seeds and all that shit, but everybody's already got their nightmare seeds. Majority of the player base has already got their nightmare seeds. They cost like mere silver coins on the auction house now. You can even buy the flask.
I think
of
making them rarer would be even better, honestly.
Probably, right? And then you give a reason to clear trash, but it's like at this point, it's like something's got to give. I think I don't like the design layout of the map of Sunken Temple more than I like the design layout of Nomer and BFD in comparison. I think those two other raids had a better layout in terms of how you get to bosses easier compared
also,
to
there was like
ST.
3 trash skips in Nomer, and I think that was a big deal for like, you could get on top of the alleyway and like dodge like 10 minutes of trash.
Yeah, of course, you're absolutely right. You could jump off when you go to Vicious Fallout. You take the gateway, like you were saying, and then you can have a rogue sneak by to get to the portal by Menadre. and he just activates the portal, and you go back to the lobby, and everybody just spawns right there. So there was 3 ways you can do it, and that's beautiful. In Sunken Temple, it's just, well, everybody AoE until we can't stop AoEing. You know, it's as simple as that. It's just stupid design.
It
Really
also
is.
like don't no matter how good your raid gets, like it's always gonna take like such an insane amount of time. Like unless you're speed running and taking risks and like risking wiping every single trash pool because like they are on the verge of wiping every pool in the speed runs. That's the game they are playing. But like for the normal guilds that are just good and getting better, like you still get like not getting any faster. A 1 hour clear in Sunken Temple is like still the standard right now. That shouldn't be the case. Like by this point in phase 2, my guild was clearing number in like 20 something minutes. And like we weren't insane,
dude.
we were pretty bad.
No, I get you. I get you. Like, I think when it comes to like, the first big raid you do, it should be an enjoyable like spectacle at first. Like, yeah, you're going through Molten Core or whatever you're doing. But if you cleared the raid, and you cleared the content for like level 1 or whatever they want to call it, just in general, you should be able to access something to get to certain things just a little bit easier, in my personal opinion, because nobody wants to waste their time on endless trash all day long, as much as they like to say, oh, well, you never know what BOE drops, yada yada. In general, you're after the main boss's loot. Let's be real here. You're after the main
People want to
boss
get
loot.
out as soon as possible.
They don't, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is just me talking on a personal level. Some people don't even want to hang out with most of these mofo's in the raid, and they don't like them. They're just there for their own self-interest to get loot. It's just the truth. And whether we want to admit that or not, I know it is the truth. I could tell you, I've seen people like this. It's just the truth. I even been in raids back in the past personally myself, where I just like, all right, I just want to, whatever loot drops. I don't care about anything else. I'll follow mechanics, and that's it. But just get me out of here. You know what I mean? It's just the truth.
I am in the opposite situation where like I don't care about the gear, but I'm going for the guild because like they need people. And like I don't want to make them let the split die before the new phase. And like sometimes there's an item that drops. Like we do the loot at the end of the raid, right? Sometimes there's an item that drops. Like I don't know, there's this cloak that has like 6 more agility on it. And like as soon as we finish the raid, I log out. Because I'm like, it's not even that big an upgrade anyway. I don't want to wait 10 minutes for them to roll it. Like I just log out.
No, yeah, just get out of there. Like,
so done with.
Yeah, I'm so dumb. I'm so over it. Like Sunken Temple's like old news, and don't get me wrong. Like I love like helping guildies out. Like that's like a natural thing. It's like, oh, yo, bro, you need something? All right, let's do the run for you. I don't mind helping you out, no problem. But after the raid's done, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Out.
Like I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Like I'm done. Like that's where I'm at right now. And I think a lot of players are out like that, like me and you, where we're at this point of phase 3 where it's like, we're good, coach. Let's wrap it up. Let's get to phase 4. Like we're ready. I think a lot of players are ready, excited. I think the most thing, and to move on to like talk about a little bit more positive things. Like I'm really excited just in general, just to see if there's anything new that we're gonna see at least through BRD or any of these old school dungeons. But if not, it is what it is. But I'm still excited to revisit them because I love those dungeons or dungeons in general. I love BRD. I love Strat. Going through Scholomance again, I'm really excited.
That's
to go
my
through these
favorite
areas.
part of our vanilla. The early level 60 experience, the pre-raid vesting slot part of level 60, I think is the best. I love Ubers. Ubers is amazing. Honestly,
Ubers, yeah.
How come we didn't get heroic Ubers and heroic BRD instead of heroic Molten Core? I think most people would have preferred that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have been a little bit more interested to see if they were to make, I guess, a more challenging mode of it. At the end of the day, I'm on the border where I just don't know if that's what everybody wants, is just really super serious, challenging content more than actual redesign of areas that is, more intriguing to go through, like a revamped version of Ubers, a revamped version of Lower Blackrock Spire, a revamped version of Dire Maul, because Dire Maul, like that's one of my least favorite dungeons in the game. I've always hated Dire Maul. It's just a personal preference. And you have to, and I don't like it, but like a revamped version where like it makes it more pleasant on the eyes and like different, ways of going about it. Actual like physical changes to the dungeons I would appreciate more personally, just my opinion. And different like boss like effects rather than something that's like overall, oh, it's just a hard mode, you just turn it on. I don't know. Like that's what SoD was all about to me to begin with. I remember even during the early posts. Remember when they were announcing Nightmare Incursions and they were like, "Yo, Nightmare Incursions are gonna be sick. We're gonna go through the Emerald Wardens. We're gonna
Little
see
did
some
we know.
dragons. We're gonna explore. It's gonna be fun. It's only a PvE event, wink wink, like they said it was, but it really, when you go in there, the Horde or Alliance is jumping your ass like you owe them $30. And yeah, little do you know, it was
Breaking
dog
your
shit. You
legs.
got yeah, like I'm over here getting pounded out like I'm in a OnlyFans scene. Settle down, you know? So like what's going on over here? And you got the hammer over there. I don't know how you stole that from me, but you better chill out, all right? That's a paladin
This
weapon.
is the Hammer of Justice,
Unbelievable.
yeah. I play a
Oh,
Paladin with Cataclysm. Did you know
how,
that, bro?
how did you this is ridiculous. How did you acquire this item?
Well, like my grandfather make this table and it's like interlocking pieces of wood, and sometimes it goes loose and
Yeah.
it shakes. So I gotta hammer the pieces together every so often. So I got this hammer from work. I kinda stole
Oh,
it.
I feel you. We should use that hammer on the SoD team. Make sure the patches get done right. All jokes aside, though, all jokes are much love to him. But like, yeah, honestly, listen, I would say this. I genuinely think Season of Discovery is actually about discovering, and the fact that like I just don't think turning a switch to say this is hard and this is like not hard is the answer. I think actual redesign of places that we once were familiar with would have been much cooler. Like imagine like early on if we would have saw revamped Dead Mines, that it was a way different way of walking through Dead Mines. It was still the Dead Mines you know and love. Bosses had different mechanics, but it was still Dead Mines. Something revamped, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that, as little as that, all the way to now where we're at. I really hope we see some revamped things because that's the discovery part for
Just
me.
put a new boss in
And
every dungeon, and I'd be happy. I don't even want that much, you know.
yeah, like it's just stuff like that, that changes the atmosphere of things. And I think that's what's something I would love to see overall, rather than just saying, oh, well, it's time to do super serious hard mode and you're stuck there for a couple hours. I just don't think that's the answer for Season of Discovery. People want to have fun. Everybody, now fun is subjective. And for some people, hey, a heroic is what their fun is, and that's fine. If they add it, right? And they're talking about that in MC. But for a lot of other people, fun is where it's like actual discovery, actual going through an MMO, playing an RPG, and seeing new things they've never seen before in a game that got revamped, and that's their fun. And that's something that I would have really loved personally.
I don't know, like I think we already got like a very fair balance in like if you want to play something hard, you got Cataclysm Heroics, which are like super hard, and like you can come here to
Yeah.
be casual and chill. And like, I think they are messing with that balance that we got this right now, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's just simple as that, man. Like I don't understand how hard it is to for them to understand that. That at the end of the day, the player base just wants to have fucking fun, man. Let's be real. Let's be real for a minute here. We just want to have a good time. We don't want to, have to talk about this bickering and battering, about why the PTR is going this way, why certain classes and spec feel like dog shit. No, we want to hear the positive things and talk about, man, why mages are doing so good right now, why warlocks are killing it, why warriors are pumping and their kit is so fun, why you should play a paladin or why you should do a shot. We want to hear fun things, why BRD is like, this cool revamped experience, but it's still BRD, and they added changes to arena or the emperor and like something with the princess, you know what I mean? Like actual cool changes overall in the entire game, rather than like, well, guys, we're turning up the heat. We're
Ragnaros
turning
is
up the
gonna do
heat in
more damage,
MC.
guys.
Get ready. Get ready for more fire resist gear. By the way, you're going to need a lot of gold for that fire resist.
Oh
It's going to cost an
god.
arm and a leg on the auction house and your whole credit card in order to get every single fire nature pot in the world. So be prepared.
Can we get the Scarlet Monastery raid again? No, but look at Ragnaros. I put 20% more damage on that guy, so you could say I worked my ass off today.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're putting bear abilities on the we're putting druid abilities on much love to the bears out there on Hand of Rag, but hope you guys enjoy that. Don't worry about it. But I would love to see though, and I was actually talking when I was discussing this with Sky, I was saying like, what I would love to see if they did, because you know how they're talking about Ashbringer right now. and they're talking about Brozigar's axe and all this stuff. Now, whether that's Horde exclusive or Ashbringer's Alliance exclusive, who the hell knows? I would like to see new legendaries, like I mentioned earlier. But if they are going to do Ashbringer and the quest line or the uncorrupted Ashbringer, whatever they do, right? However they go about this, in general, I would like to see if they do something with Scarlet Monastery where like you get like certain regents or pieces in order to like, acquire the minerals you need in order to enter a version of SM that no one's ever seen before. And like all the bosses in Scarlet Monastery, the ones that you slayed are all in like kind of like a 4 horseman style thing. And they're all defending this like, this epic Ashbringer. You know what I mean? And something is there and there's lore added to it, some text, we see some actual story, and actual cool like scenery. That would be something I would geek out about. And be like,
like
holy
put a
shit.
quest line on it, like we got
like a quest
Sulfuras
line.
and Thunder Fury. Like you get the corrupted ash bringer. This was cut from the game. This was intended to be the case in vanilla, by the way. It's not like it's gonna like mess up with the lore too much. But like make like a quest line, like you got the corrupted ash bringer, but then you kill a bunch of bosses and you pray to the Bible and stuff, and all of a sudden it's holy again and it's good. And I don't know.
Absolutely.
It has like extra holy spell power on it. There you go. Fix the weapon for it. I would love to see that.
And I would love to see that. And like that's the type of like, stuff that I would be so intrigued about. But I don't know. I just don't think that's what we're gonna get, to be honest with you. I think the realistic point of view is where we're just gonna get baseline things, baseline changes. And the real part about it, and it's the sad part, it's the sad truth. I don't think BRD is really changing all that much. Don't think Skolo's changing. Don't think Strat's changing. DM's going to be the same. They might handle World Bus a little bit differently. But the only thing that's really changing is MC, with turning up the heat, depending on what actual changes are in MC. That's, yet to be seen. And then the class things that we have right now. And I think that's all. I think that is it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope the turning up the heat actually means more. I don't want this to have. I don't want the heat thing at all, honestly. But I hope that all it means is you get more bosses or more mechanics or more something. I hope they just didn't make it so like Ragnaros does 20% more damage and he's 20% tankier, and that's the whole effort they put on this. That would break my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make me a little upset too, honestly, because we just want to have fun, man. It's not too hard. Like simple to simply say that, I mean, listen, we're all getting older. We don't, have the patience to deal with like, stress or be bummed out about things. We just want to play a game and have fun. Most of us are coming home from like, either IRL jobs and stuff, and we play World of Warcraft and we just want to have a good time with our friends and buddies and, meet new people alike and just, have fun with the classes that we love. We want to pump, but we also want to like enjoy our rotations and know that our classes are not getting, hit to the ground. And then the content that we clear, we want it to be actually fun. Yeah, challenging, but not something that's unbearable and not killable, but just like genuinely fun. And I just think that's the prio that needs to be focused on and remembered at the classic SoD team.
Yeah, and honestly, like I did the no life thing in Classic. Okay, when Classic came out, I was out there in Fairbanks, US. I was invited to the Realm First Onyxia kill because I was the only druid that hit 58 at that time. So they were like, do you want a free helmet, dude? And I got the free helmet because it dropped. But they were like, we gotta get a druid. Do you want to come? You're the only guy in the server that can go at this point. And I went and I got it.
That's funny.
I wasn't in their guild or anything. They just saw me laying out there and they were like, do you want a helmet?
I mean, shit, bro, you gotta take it. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, listen, hey, a handout's a handout,
I was level 58, I couldn't even equip it. I was like butt-ass naked, but I have the best helmet in the game.
Dude, that's what happened with me when I switched over to the Horde side, because I'm a big Alliance player, I wasn't Horde at all. And then when I joined, Sky and them, like, bro, they power leveled the shit out of me. My boy Spill, like, he's like, bro, you want this he's like, you want this glimmering blade from like the end of Nomer? And I was like level like I think 30 or something. Like I was getting hard carried through Nomer early on until I started picking my weight back up. I was like, yeah, I'll take all this. I'll take all this free gear. Fuck it, brother. But hey, listen. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's the perks of having friends and having a good time. You know what I
But
mean?
yeah, like
So
as I was saying though, like I did the whole no life thing when Classic came out. I am never doing that again. And I play this game for money, and I don't want to do that now. Okay, like the whole
yeah.
wiping for 4 hours on a single boss. Like I think the viewers don't want to see it. First of all, you know, like if I were to stream that all day, like. And I've been talking with a bunch of streamers that are doing Cataclysm right now, and they all tell me like, "This is awful, man. Like I kind of feel bad for my viewers because I'm in the same boss for 4 hours. This is boring." You know, like
No, I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, and this is something I'm just gonna say truthful right now, and this might be a hot take, so prepare yourself for this one, chat. So settle down. Um, I know these guys. I've been talking with some of them. I love them. They're great people, great streamers. But you can look at some of these streamers' faces, and I'm not gonna say it without being an
you can
asshole.
tell.
Just
You can tell.
they are miserable.
Oh god. Just look at
They're
Cataclysm.
miserable, bro. Just look at Kata, and I'm not saying Kata's not fun. By all means,
Normal is
have
amazing.
fun with
I do
Kata.
raids on stream. I get random videos from stream. We kill the bosses. We're cracking jokes the whole time. You wanna do heroic? You look at that. Like there are streamers that are full of life, and you can visibly see how it
Yeah.
sucks the life out of them. It's like hardcore WoW
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm just listen, dude. I'm just being honest. I'm just keeping it a $150 with you. You can have fun, of course, and everyone can have fun with something. But you see some of these Kata streamers, bro. They are miserable, bro. And it's just being honest, being truthful with you, because they know that when they were playing SoD, the SoD hype was real. The numbers were up. The data was up. The views were up. You started playing Kata. Initially, it was a little up, and now it's starting to trickle really badly
Oh
down.
yeah.
And it's not to say Kata, like, Kata hype is something that people don't enjoy, but I'm sorry. I'm a strong believer that if they didn't need to focus on Kata and they could have just stopped at Wrath, and they did, classic era was, in my opinion, vanilla classic, TBC, Wrath. That's it. For some people, Kata was their classic, as they were trying to say. Whatever. However, I think that if they just stay, in my opinion, Kata should have never been a thing. They should have focused on SoD, maybe take influence from Kata, how good PvP was in Kata, because Kata did have good PvP. In fairness, PvP was really nice in the seasons. Take influence from PvP of Kata, try to implement some of that style in SoD with a twist and do their own thing, and then go from there. But that's it. And they could have had more manpower on Season of Discovery. We would never be having these issues and videos and having this discussion about drama or anything like that a lot of other content creators have been putting out as well. We would never have these problems. We would just say, yo, SoD's fun. Active phases, active weekly changes, active blue
Even
posts,
for
etc.
content is a lot more fun to do because like every phase you gotta do the same. You gotta like what's new with the warrior, what's new with the priest. You know, like you got like infinite content in Soul. But like, don't get me wrong, I love Cataclysm and I like Cataclysm, but I came to Season of Discovery ready to hate it. I thought it was gonna be like a fad and it was gonna die out like hardcore, you know.
Yeah.
And I think this is the future. I agree with you. Like, I don't agree on the whole not Cataclysm thing. You hold my shoulder. My heart is broken. But I think
Sorry.
this is the future.
Sorry.
I think like we found the Krabby Patty recipe right here. Like, you just make this and you make it better every year, and I think you're gonna get a good player based on this. Like, people,
Yeah,
this is fun.
Because like I look at it like this, right? And it's like, at the end of the day, the vanilla version of WoW is what something people all loved originally. Like when it came out the first time, it took over the world for a reason. It went global for a reason, all across the board on media, everything, TV, etc. Everything was World of Warcraft for a while, and that's something that I don't think they'll ever recapture. But I think building upon the initial game and understanding things from expansions that were the good parts of expansions, and trying to revamp new ideas from those expansions into the original game itself of SoD, but take different twists about it and make new things happen so we can actually discover things, is something to build off the base game. So they're at this point, because you got to look at it like this: how many more versions of World of Warcraft are we going to get? What's next after Kata? We're going to go to MoP,
I think
and
we're
then
gonna
what's
get
next after
mob.
MoP? Yeah, and then what's next after MoP?
Warlords of Draenor Classic, you know, like.
Yeah. And then what, Legion? Like, bro, enough's enough. Like, dude, we have so many versions of WoW at this point. Can we just listen? How about this? You have retail and you have classic WoW. And that's it. You don't need to call it classic era. You don't even need to call it SoD. It's just WoW, classic WoW revamped, where they're always making changes to the original core game and adding new content ideas, unused assets, and doing things that we've never seen before in the original game. And they're two separate entities, rather than we have Kata here, we have Mott Remix here, we have Mr. Pandaria here, we have Warlords of Draenor here. Oh wait, now there's a version of Shadowlands revamp maybe in the future coming here. Like, what the, or maybe we go back to Dragonflight. Like, enough's enough, bro. Stop it. Like, this needs to stop. It's time to stop. You know, get the
it's gonna stop eventually, I hope, because like even if they don't stop, you know, like we get a new expansion of classic every year and a half, more or less, every 14, 16 months, whatever. Like they're gonna if they don't stop, they're gonna reach retail eventually. What are we gonna get retail, but it's classic instead of retail?
Yeah, dude, I'm so fucking tired of it. It's like, dude, we've had 18. It's like a comparison like this. We've had like how many different versions of like a shooter game like Call of Duty have we had, right? Like several different versions. But we all know and love that like the original like MW4, MW2 was peak COD. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, peak COD. World at War, really good COD. After that, all these 18,000 versions of Call of Duty comes out with not the same passion, love, and desire that it had in its fan base at the peak pivotal
there
moments
was a
of
time
those
where
games.
Call of Duty was like the Minecraft of YouTube, you know, it was everywhere. Yeah. It was the only gameplay content that you could see.
Bro, I remember it was the only content.
They were pioneers.
They were pioneers. When World at War dropped, nobody knew what was going on, bro. You would play the campaign and be like, yo, this campaign's lit. They had zombie mode. Zombies just came out. And multiplayer just came out. It was like, whoa. Like, the multiplayer solid too. And when you feel an airstrike, you fucking felt that shit. Like I was in Nam. I felt it like I was in the trenches. I'm like, what's going on over here? And everything felt great. And like a lot of
podcast?
Yeah.
Like
dude, like
so
everything
hype.
was great.
Like this was like 2010, and they were getting like 5,000 viewers on Twitch, like just talking about Call of Duty, and like they diluted the fan base. That's what's gonna happen with Classic, and I'm very scared of it. I made a video on it a week ago or so. Like, what happens when we got like 6-7 servers? It's not gonna feel big anymore, even if it is big overall. Like, what, you got like a couple people sprinkled in around the world?
No, yeah, I mean, dude. No, I feel you. I mean, dude, honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think that's another point where it's like, to segue, I guess, into that. It's like, what are we gonna do when we get to the point where servers are gonna start dwindling down? Are we gonna start expanding other servers and trying to combine people into that? And like, how much of the data is falling off on certain servers where we're like, damn, we got to close the server off, like they did to, what was that one server a couple months back, Chaos Bolt? I think they nuked that server. And then the people from Chaos had to switch over to Crusader Strike or something like that. It was like an RP server. I remember I thought I saw Sardako cover something like that. But in general, I remember a server got shut down. But in general, I'm like, for me, you know, I play on Live and Flame, you know, on US, and I'm also a little concerned about my server too, because I really have my starting there, and it's been great meeting a lot of people there. I had fun with so many players. And I want to know what's going to happen to Live and Flame eventually, you know? Who knows? But I just think at the end of the day, to just wrap up the previous point in a nutshell, just have a central hub, World of Warcraft. And it is classic WoW. That's it. And that is what you always build your game on. You tune this baby out. You change the tires, add new oil. You do some things, make the engine look pretty. And then you have retail. That's all you need to have. We don't need 20 different versions. We love what the versions were back in the day, because we know what the passion and, you know, fulfillment that was put into those, and that's all you keep. That's it, coach. Hike. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, get in there. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know, like what I would do if I were them, I would do like a loop the loop, okay? Like we got one expansion seasonally, okay? This year is Cataclysm, next year is going to be TBC, next year is going to be Wrath of the Lich King, you know? Like, we cycle them through like that. And we put all the because the expansions are already ported and made, you know, it's over. You don't need development anymore on that. And we put all the resources on Season of Discovery or Season of whatever that comes next. That's what I would do. You know, like...
Yeah. I feel you there.
But like wasting development resources on other expansions at this point that they got this I think they learned, okay? Like this, I don't think they expected this to succeed the way it did. And even though it fell off now, like they look at the launch numbers and like they think, yeah, we gotta go all in on this.
No, for sure. I totally get that. I think the initial launch of games always bring a lot of hype. Now, whether that hype stays or not is depending on how good the game is, right? And I think, you know, at the end of the day, like they've made some like, you know, decent side projects. Like I would say project more than anything. I think Mop Remix was, you know, it is like fun for some people and it's an enjoyable chill
for
version.
5 minutes.
You know, it has some. Yeah, for 5 minutes, and you know, like at the end of the day, like Mob Remix has its like fun to it because like those characters are going to transfer over into War Within, which is cool. You know, I'll give them that. That's the one thing I like about that more than anything. That besides the cosmetics and shit, you can transfer your character to War Within, cool. But I still would rather the priority be Season of Discovery, and that is all, and that's it. And like I would love SoD, and retail War Within obviously is going to have its prio. People are going to play it. I'm going to play it. Maybe you will play it. Everybody will play it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I would love SoD to get the support and love it deserves, and more manpower on the team, please.
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, I think they could afford the resources to do it, but they don't put the resources forward anymore. I think that's also a misplay. Hopefully, like the success of Season of Discovery will convince the management that they gotta give Agren like 10 more employees. But it's kind of...
Oh yeah, for sure.
Kind of sad that we gotta like deal with like basic issues at this point.
Oh, I know, dude. It's oh man, it really takes the breath out of me. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough, man. Because like I love fucking doing these videos. I love, you know, creating content just like you, man. Like, you know, you're a great creator, and you know I love watching everybody in the scene and seeing everybody grow. I love seeing the community, whether it's the good or bad. Like I love being a part. But when you know you're so connected and a part of the community, and you know that, you know, the game that you're representing is not even representing you, it's a little disheartening, you know, and it's like it sucks, you know, seeing certain things. And like I said earlier, I think the biggest thing, if we want changes, is being vocal. Like really use the SoD forum PTR and mention your concern with your classes. Try to get views around it. Make posts on Twitter at these SoD devs and tell them what's wrong, and just go from there. And we'll see what happens, because at this point it's you know, I don't want to see things are looking grim, but right now there is this dark cloud that is above us, and we don't know what's past the dark cloud. And that's where things get concerning, when you leave people in the darkness.
I think this is a pivotal moment. That's what I would call it. Like they got two roads here. Yeah. Do we either destroy the PTR or do we change it and keep it alive? And like that's gonna be the end or die of Season of Discovery right here, right now. Okay, we either get a patch of like a bunch of stuff on Tuesday, or nobody's gonna care anymore. I think there's not gonna be an in between.
No, yeah, I 100% agree. If we don't see nothing, man, dude, I don't know how long I can try to defend them. Because I try to, you know, at the end of the day, I try to give much credit and love and support to Season of Discovery team, you know, because I like them a lot. I like Agron a lot. I think it was really awesome of what they created in, you know, phase 1 and going into phase 2. But there's only so much cracks in the shield I can take, you know. Paladin meme aside, there's only so much I could take before, after a while, I'm just gonna have to be truthful.
The bubble only lasts 10 seconds. After the bubble runs out, you're gonna take real damage, you know. There's only so much.
No, yeah. Exactly, you know, and it's like I don't want to snap, but like I don't want to you know, because sometimes, you know, you'll have people like, you know, we try to keep it, you know, I guess PG friendly or family friendly about certain things, but it's like after a while, just gonna be, you got to be honest and be like, come on, guys, like what the fuck are we doing? Like, come on, it's simple as that. It's raw, it's uncut, it's real. and that's just the truth all about it. And I really hope that I guess tomorrow I think we're seeing an update. I believe tomorrow I think Monday. So if it's
Did
Monday
they
by
say it yet?
calculation, I think Monday or Tuesday we're going to see something. And if that's the trajectory we're going to follow, that means
That's
every
good.
Monday or Tuesday we're going to see something. So that
That's
means
good.
17, 18, 24, 25th, the 1st and 2nd, and then looking at the last if let's say if by any chance phase 4 comes out on the 11th, the 8th and 9th. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of active PTR changes. If that's just an assumption, if the phase 4 comes out July 11th.
That would be ideal. Honestly, like that's all I want. I don't want that much. Okay, like I know we're not getting the phase 4 soon. Like I think nobody's surprised about that too much. Maybe they were expected 2 weeks early or so, but I think your date July 11th. Like I think you're either gonna hit it or you're gonna hit it like on the side. Like it's gonna be right there. It's gonna be right there.
Yeah, because like I'm gonna be honest, man. Like if I don't see something by July 11th, I'm definitely making that video where I'm gonna be not too happy on it. I'm gonna be
Adrian!
keeping it a buck. I'm gonna be fucking flipping out. You might see a steel chair, and I might do a swanton bomb off the bed right here, right onto my chair.
Oh, you gotta get a ladder and drop off the ladder to the bed, bro. You know, like
Yeah,
in
dude,
WWE.
off the top belt, Macho Man Randy Savage drop. Hold the fucking elbow, all right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him with a good old Dusty Rhodes, just a bionic elbow. But you best believe that's gonna happen because it's gonna be ridiculous if we don't see something at that point. You got 4 weeks of a fucking PTR, and there's no active changes going on, and you guys have the audacity not to put this out on the 11th. You're gonna put this out on what, the 20th something of July, and then you're gonna mean to tell me that people are gonna play SoD for a month before War Within? Oh, buddy. That's gonna be interesting. That's a tight window. That's a tight window, coach.
I mean,
that's
like,
all I'm saying.
What's the date of War Within? It's coming right now, right?
I think it's 8/26.
Let's see. War Within release date. So August 26th. Oh no, it's gonna come earlier. That's the problem, right? I think they messed up with the timing because, like,
yeah.
From Blizzard's point of view, they really don't want to drop a SoD thing before because they want people to subscribe for War Within because subscribing for War Within means they also buy the expansion, so it's more money for them. I sure do hope we don't get it later. That would be awful.
No. I mean, man, I'm just at this point where it's like, if we don't get this sooner than later, you're not going to give enough people enough time to really enjoy this phase because you're going to lose a lot of your concurrent SoD player base to the War Within. Whether people want to say like, oh, well, me personally, I'm staying with SoD, that's fine. I'm going to still play SoD too, no matter what. I'm a SoD guy. I love classic version of WoW. I think it's the best version of WoW, period. But it doesn't mean that players are not going to go play War Within. It's just naturally going to happen. Anytime a new release happens, people want to see what that new release is about. If it's for them, if they like the content, if they like what the story's going on, the world to explore, etc. And War Within has a lot of promise right now. I'm not gonna lie, Dragonflight had a lot of good player retention and players really enjoyed it. Yeah, the end of season 4 Dragonflight, from if you look at the stats, like it went down because obviously it's the end of a season, but Dragonflight did a lot of better improvements than what Shadowlands did. Shadowlands was not great. So I'm really looking forward to the future of retail WoW as well, because I'm curious to see if War Within is going to be a banger or not, to be honest with you.
I mean, the launch is always a banger. That's why, like, that's what the one thing you can count on for Blizzard. No matter how broken the expansion is, they always get people to come back. It's like the Stockholm syndrome, the mother wife coming back. They always come back. But like,
oh yeah, for sure.
The real question is gonna be like 2 months into the expansion, are people gonna be done with it? Because BFA had a big launch, didn't work out very good.
No, that's true. Player retention is a hard thing to keep because if the game's not fire, if it's not fun and active and enjoyable, you're really gonna lose a player base and you're gonna have decreased numbers on that chart. And they are all about their charts and graphs. Every company is always about that. They love their data. And they're gonna really see that player recline, and it's gonna not be too good over there in their side of the the marketing room, so to say, on the dev team. But overall, though, yeah, we'll see what happens. If it's good, great. That happens with a lot of games. But I'm really hoping for SoD that this Phase 4 launch is great. I hope people have a great time with it and have fun. And I'm really hoping that a lot of our prayers get answered for a lot of these class changes, and they're actively listening. And then we live a good life with Season of Discovery. That's all I care about.
Yeah, speaking of prayers, I guess this is going to be the last thing I wanted to bring up here. Now that we brought you here, yeah. I think I'm not going to waste this opportunity here. When I was looking at the patch notes, the day it came out, I was breaking it down on stream, looking at all the classes, I was dropping opinions. I saw, you cannot see the patch notes, but I saw this book they dropped on all the changes they made to the Paladin. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, let's see, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There is 13 balance changes in one patch for the Paladin. The most any class has gotten. I can kind of tell why people are upset already.
Yeah, so here's the truth about it, right? And I think, because I do see some people mentioning this where they got a little bummed out that the Paladin got a lot of changes. Now, I tested the Paladin in and out over the past couple of days of the PTR, done some PvP. I got further testing to do, actually, so I'm not done yet. But I've done a lot of testing so far, and even in my videos, I've done very in-depth testing to see what's working out. And I'll tell you right now, a lot of these changes that you are seeing right now hurts the Paladin for the retribution side more than it is benefiting. Aura Mastery doesn't do jack shit for us in terms of things as you really think. Also, Exorcism spamming is gone, so that really hurt our damage a lot. Exorcism is our main ability, but it's not that great as you think anymore. Art of War really got nerfed to the fucking ground, where we now have to basically get Purifying Power in place to get a 50% cooldown reduction for Exorcism to try to come it back online. But if you do that, I believe you have to get rid of Improved Hammer of the Wrath, which is a serious ability for the Paladin during the execution phase. That's like saying, hey, warriors, get rid of your execute. Would you want to lose your execute? Imagine a warrior lose an execute during a kill phase. Absolutely not. So, Sheaf of Light, yeah, no longer grants bonus healing, but it's still one of the most powerful spell power runes in the game. Seal of Martyrdom, the real best changes from any of this you're seeing. Horn of Lordanen got totally butchered. They knew that was gone. They also got rid of Enlightened Judgments. They knew that was gone. The biggest key thing that you're highlighting right now, that's one of the best things, is Seal of Martyrdom. The fact that Seal of Martyrdom is baseline and Divine Storm is now something we could just use is the most appreciative thing that us as Paladins do enjoy, but it's not to the point where it's like, oh, this is amazingly broken, because at the end of the day, you look at a lot of the other specs that are doing much better than us right now in terms of damage. We're not even up there in the charts. We are on the high end of damage. We are anywhere between 1100 and 1300 damage. With Wild Strikes,
that's
we're at
Sunken Temple numbers. That's Sunken Temple numbers.
Yeah,
right there. My cat is doing 1100 and I suck.
Yeah, but now cats in the PTR are doing 1600 as normal.
That's
as normal damage.
I didn't hear that.
No crits.
It didn't hit me yet. I never heard the DPS. I knew it was rough, but 1100, really?
No,
holy
dude,
crap! That's Sunken Temple numbers. For real.
So all the changes, yes. So all the changes you're seeing right now, this is without world buffs. This is only with consumables. This is not with any other class buffs that I've tested. For the Rep Paladin, we are only maxing out on the high end anywhere between 1100 and 1300 damage. And also with Wild Strikes, we hit 1600. That is our max cap right now. Now, I haven't tested anything else after that, heard any other news from the Paladin Discord, or done further testing with test work, the patchwork boss and the PTR myself. So I could try doing more stuff. But overall, though, they nerfed even Hammer of Righteousness. So a lot of prop Paladins are pissed off about that, because it doesn't hit 4 targets anymore. It only hits 2. I don't know why they did that. I don't know who was asking for that.
They didn't even put
the only
the
thing
notes.
that really it's on the notes. And
no,
yeah,
I mean, they didn't put the targets in the notes. I mean,
Oh
Like,
no, they didn't put the targets right in the nose. They when they said 50%, it also just reduced the amount of targets it can hit as well.
It didn't reduce the damage overall. It reduced the amount of people it hits, or did it also?
It's the damage and the amount of people it hits.
Oh my!
So the hammer of the righteousness is not hitting as hard as it once was. It's not doing the great damage where this dope ass sound effect, one of the coolest sound effects in the game, where it goes dong like an Undertaker bell. It's really cool. It's not doing now. It's still useful. Do not get me wrong. It still does some pretty decent damage, but it's just nowhere where it once was. The biggest thing from all these changes that you're really seeing here in the Paladin changes is mostly Holy Paladin things. Holy Paladin is really going to eat, in my opinion. I think and as much as people are saying, oh, Holy Paladin might not be good. No, Holy Paladin with their set bonuses, if you check the set bonuses out too, they're there on the web. But Holy Paladin's going to really eat. I think Prot Paladin's looking much, much better. But in terms of the Rep Paladin, like because every spec has just the damage spec, right? And then that's supposed to be the damage spec. The Rep Paladin is not doing as good as whatever the patch notes are saying. After a lot of conductive testing from the Paladin Discord and myself, it's just a lot of these notes are more spelunky than it is actual factual, like amazing information.
But that's
and
ridiculous.
It sucks, like,
that's not a 50% nerf. That's a 75% nerf.
It's a massive blanking nerf to the ability overall, to the point where it's like you still have to use it for tanking because it's a part of the rotation. They did give a Shield of Righteousness on the back where it's like another shield slam ability. You get Avenger Shield where you throw your shield and it hits 3 targets. So there's a lot of shield play going on, especially with Consecration on the ground. But overall, the biggest problem with a lot of this is that it was more blanket hits to the damaging side of the Paladin more than there was a lot of more support to like the healing and prot side. So you're not seeing anything that is making the Paladin broken in terms of damage. No, they gave us wings, but wings causes forbearance. And if you know what forbearance is basically, for anybody in chat. Yeah, for anybody in chat, no bubble. So you get forbearance. It's just only for 20 seconds. And I did a minute testing. So I popped I popped my wings. My damage went up to like a high 1700. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, wait, are we hitting right now? I'm like, what's going on? But then after around the 40-second mark, before my minute calculation, it dropped to a low 900 to 1100. And I was like, wait, what's going on? And I capped out at 1181, around there, in terms of like top end damage, with a high being 1300. So it's just not as amazing as you think. I think Avenging Wrath needs a rework, and I don't understand as well, why make Avenging Wrath magic? It's dispellable. So you mean to tell me you're giving this dope ass cooldown, but it's dispellable?
In retail, it's a physical ability. You're right.
It just doesn't make sense. You could dispel it, and it could be purged. So why? I advocated for this on the forum post, and I said Avenging Wrath should be a holy based ability that's exclusive to the Paladin. For my warrior brothers over there, including Sand over here, recklessness is something that is exclusive to the warrior. It's exclusive. When you pop wreck, you know you're about to do some big fucking damage. You're excited. You're like, oh, I'm about to fuck this boss up. I'm about to fuck this target up. Sorry for my language, but you get what I'm saying. I'm about to mess this boss up pretty much. And when I pop wings, I want to be like, I'm about to mess this boss up, or I'm about to mess this player up.
Going Super Saiyan,
Yeah, and I pop my wings, and I'm glowing, and the hair's flipping through the background. It's beautiful. But unfortunately, that's not the case. When somebody can go like offline, bye-bye, one button. It's like, well, why is this on a 3-minute cooldown then? Why is this sharing forbearance with other bubbles? And it's only 20 seconds. I think they need to make that a wholly based ability. It cannot be dispelled or anything like that. It's exclusive to the Paladin. And if you're going to make it 20 seconds for that long, for 3 minutes, just give it a 30-second cooldown where you could do it for 30 seconds rather than 20. 20 is too short. After my minute testing several times, 20 seconds is still too short. And it's just my belief on it.
Yeah, in TBC it's 40% actually. So retail it is 20%. But the thing about retail is that the Red Paladin has like a bunch of other cooldowns. Like it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, I don't think this should be the way to go to buff Avenging Wrath. I think they should just make it even it out, because it also sucks that you only can parse if you like got your cooldowns up and stuff. You know, like in long fights, you get shafted.
Yeah, like long fights, we're getting shafted. A quick fight, like a PvP match bout, then it's different. But a long fight, it is very, very concerning. And even with like the other thing that you see on there with Enlightened Judgments with the malleable protection, that's a good change for prop paladins because it's kind of like similar to like a warrior when they pop up like like the last stand or like they're popping up their shield walls. It's kind of similar to that. So that's like a genuine good like against a boss mechanic change. But overall, Avenging Wrath is not as hot as people think. I rather much would have loved to see a gap closer. Somebody brought a great idea in my comments, whether it's like maybe Long Arm of the Law from Cataclysm, or if we had potentially where your judgment, 50% of your judgment has a proc rate where it can make your pursuit of justice get doubled, where you can move faster for a certain amount of seconds. And I thought that was cool. I was like, oh shit, I'm moving quicker naturally without just knowing because of a proc rate from a judgment, I think that would have been cool. But unfortunately, I don't know if the SoD team are thinking about these things. And that's
I'm
why I
gonna
had to
let
make
you
that
dream
forum
for a
post.
little bit here. In retail, there's this ability, I forgot the name, but like there's like a talent, I think, for Holy. Well, like you pop your Avenging Wrath, you pop your wings, and you get on top of a ghost horse that is Holy, and you move 40% faster.
Yeah.
That's the gap closer.
Oh no, yeah, dude. And I've been advocating for things like Divine Steed and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fucking, like just advocating for that. Some people don't want to see that. Some people do. At the end of the day, it doesn't need to be like retail where you can attack while on the horse, but like have it where it's just an escape ability. If anybody remembers, right? I'm an old Diablo head. In Diablo 3, when you're playing a Crusader, you could pop the horse, which is your Divine Steed as well, and it's just a getaway thing for like 3 to 5 seconds. That's all it is. It gives an option to the Paladin to move in and out. Now, I know people are going to say like, oh, not every class deserves like a sprint style ability, then everything's becoming retail. But I mean, come on, we just gave
We're
Warriors
already
Meat
at the
Hook, and
party.
that's
We
not...
might as well dance, brother. Like we got heroic mortal core. I think we already sailed.
Yeah,
we've already sailed.
We're already exactly. We're already at this fucking fiasco over here, and it's like, come on, man. At this point, you're giving Warriors Meat Hook, much love to them, but it's like we don't have double charge, intercept.
They don't even like it. That's the worst part about it. They don't even like it.
They don't even want that. They just wanted their rage and their damage to be fucking fixed.
They want their damage back.
I would kill for a meat hook. If anything, that's like a Death Knight style of ability that could have. You were hinting to paladins being unholy paladins like Death Knights. Where did the lore or the mix up go wrong? Like that could have been something for us or some kind of
better.
cool ability.
Because like
I'm just saying,
the warrior wants to go inside the group and like melee and spam people and kill them. The warrior wants to jump in and be the first one to charge in. But a paladin is a more defensive class, being able to pull somebody in the group so your group can kill them. Maybe you can even do like a bubble, like a holy paladin with a meat hook. I think that conceptually that makes a lot more sense than the warrior.
It's just these design choices and these things that are made at the end of the day that make us question the SoD team. And it's not that here's the thing, like for anybody in like chat as well, like I don't think we hate the Season of Discovery team where it's like, oh, these are bad people. No, it's just that the decision making is flawed. We're calling it out, we see it, and we hope things get addressed. And if we can go for this perfect little circle of rotation with them, where things get addressed, they see what's going on, and things get balanced out, then hey, everything is beautiful and sunshines and rainbows in the world. But unfortunately, right now, that's not the case. We're in a world full of darkness, and there's a bare minimum light through that cloud where we see potential, and we're hoping that light can burst through. But if not, we're in a tough situation, and we just got to roll with the punches. Unfortunately, we just got to roll it out.
I think next to the warrior, you're the one that took the most hits. They always call us like the crybaby Olympics, like warriors complain, paladin complain, but this is like a huge hit. This is people don't play red paladin. I don't play red paladin, but like you guys gotta understand, this is not like a small nerf that they are given. Like if this happened to the mages, they would be really mad too.
Oh no, dude, the mages, dude, I've been talking about my boys from the mages side too, and they've been disappointed for multiple phases too. A lot of things need to really get looked at. Like nobody wants to just click one button, Frostfire Bolt, and do the most damage in the game. As much as that's fun, but it is really boring, and like there's other things that they need help with, like mana regen and stuff like that. overall, though, I mean, there's also some things I don't like about mages, like, as far as like chronostatic preservation. I still think that's been one of the most broken things in the game in terms of PvP for a long time. But overall, though, people beg to differ. It's fine. But in general, classes and specs need help. They need listening to, and I really hope they address a lot of things before it gets to the point where it's just a little bit too late.
Yeah. But that's a good segue right there. They are asking in chat, what's your predictions for the retention of Phase 4? Do you think people are going to stick around for Molten Core after it comes out and they progress?
I think this game's dead. No, this game is not dead. It's not dead. Settle down.
Oh, there goes my clickbait. God damn it.
There it is. Put that at the start. No, but honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I really think that player retention for Phase 4 really hinges on the changes of the SoD team. If they really went in depth with each individual spec and showed the care and love to those classes, because even with the Paladin, the one thing I didn't mention was Shakaden. I know that's something I didn't talk about with you, but Shakaden took a big hit in nerf too. They're not too happy about Shakaden right now. But overall, a lot of specs really need the love they deserve, and we got to see if they're going to put the passion into it. And if they do, you will see player retention. If they don't, War Within is literally a month and change, and people are going to just switch right over. Do I think it'll retain more players than Kata? Oh, for sure. Because honestly,
Kata was hilarious, bro. People went in so hyped, and they saw heroic. They realized it's hard, and they quit.
Yeah, and they look to their friends and they're like, "Let's get out of here."
And like, people want SoD to be hard, and like you look at what happened with Kata, and they're like, "Why?" You saw what happened with Kata. People don't want it. It's very clear. People like saying they want it. People love saying they are super good at the game and they will kill it. But then they actually wipe for 4 hours on Magmo, and they are all of a sudden they change their mind.
No, of course, and you realize that, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying for most people, Kata was an amazing expansion and people enjoyed it, but when you're so far ahead of it in the game right now, especially at the point where like retail where it is and where it's at, as much as people want to hate on retail did fix a lot of things with classes where classes do feel really fun on there. People enjoy their classes on there. So I'm looking forward to what the War Within does with those classes to further improve those things. But in general, I really hope that SoD prevails. And if everything is fixed up, then we're looking at a good future. So I'll keep it I'll keep it optimistic for now and not be a negative Nancy about it.
I think my concern is not retention. I think the level, I'm gonna do a little analogy here, okay? YouTube analogy. I know you guys don't care about this, but I am not worried about the retention. I am worried about the click-through rate. Okay, I'm worried about how many people are gonna come back to try it out, because I do believe that the early level 60 experience, no matter how much they try to ruin it, is super fun. People love Ubers, people love Straton, people love Skolo. Well, not Skolo, Skolo sucks, but people like the pre-raid vesting slot at level 60. That process is super fun. The world is super alive. There's like so many things to do. So I think if people come back for Phase 4, they are gonna have a lot to do, and they are gonna stay, and they're gonna be happy. I think we're gonna retain players just fine. I just hope that this hype doesn't die. Like, this is gonna live and die on the hype. Like, if people don't come back, it doesn't matter how good it is,
No, of course. At the end of the day, if it's not fun, people are not gonna want to have nothing to do with it. It all goes back to the simplicity of that, because that's what gaming's all about, is having a good time. And if you're not having a good time, why would you invest in your time with something that's not giving you any type of benefit back? There are much other games out there and other things to do that are much more fun currently right now than Phase 3 SoD. I think you would have to be a madman to say that Phase 3 SoD is the best phase ever.
Paint drying, grass growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Brushing your teeth for 8 hours. We're talking big competition we got right now.
Yeah, I would rather say that I would rather watch a paint on the wall dry than play Phase 3 SoD right now in its current state. So that's just my opinion. No hate. I'm really excited though for Phase 4, because it's going to be really fun to get back into the game and test a lot of more things out during the initial release. So we'll see what happens, and I hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, I am not that concerned. I don't think it's gonna die, but like if this loses momentum, it's gonna be a shame because it could be so much better than this.
No, yeah, it could be so much better than this. And like honestly, man, as a player, content creation aside, I love playing World of Warcraft. It's been fun, it's been a good time, and I just want to continue trying to have a good time, even just as a person simply enjoying the game and leveling and just learning new things and testing different things out and exploring more than anything. I just love doing that in video games, and I really am looking forward, to the next month of active or activity of changes on Wowhead, on Twitter, seeing what they have to say, and further discussion. Whatever we got to do from there.
I wanna stay all day thinking about the game. Okay, I wanna go back to like thinking how can I make the warrior build better? How can is this gonna be better than this thing? I wanna go back to thinking like that all day. I want it to consume my brain again. That's what I want. I know it's a lot to ask.
No, it's fine. It's understandable. I mean, I think you would be wrong to say that you don't love your class, and you don't love the play style that you enjoy. And I think like, there's nothing wrong with improving on things. And if something's broken, doesn't mean it can't be fixed. It's just we want to see, the answers and the community be heard, and the dev team is active on development and fixing these classes so players can enjoy the kit they love doing, and that's really it. Simple as that.
Yeah, Jackson is asking if we're gonna see incursions on the leveling. They already said, and I think this is a great change, that they're gonna put a weekly lockout on it. So like you can do the incursion loop once. I think that should have been the case from the start. I mean, maybe not weekly, daily would have been better. I don't know, but like, I think that's gonna fix all the problems with incursions except the PvP. It's gonna still be a bloodbath, and that's super stupid, and I hate it. But everything else, though,
yeah, I definitely think the PvP, as far as I'm not a fan of STV. I'm not a fan that they are trying to get us to go back there. I think that's a bad call in my opinion. I know something that we didn't talk about. I think Blackrock Eruption, the new PvE event, is going to have a lot of PvP there. That might be a madhouse. We'll see what happens with that new event. But I'm not a fan for the fact that they want us to go back to STV to get us new updated vendor stuff, and not make any general good changes for STV itself, in terms of like, networking issues or lag, layering, any problems with like, how players stack up in groups of 5, and like try to abuse certain things, etc. Whatever it is, in general, all I'm saying is that I wish there was more to do within STV rather than just like do something just to get a new vendored item. And if they're gonna do new vendor items, I do think they need to help out casters as well, because casters gotten no love with the vendor items besides rings. They haven't even gave them a weapon. And now this is me talking from a melee perspective originally, like Paladin stuff. Like I've noticed casters haven't been getting anything good from it. But besides that, yeah, who knows what they do with PvP? Obviously, they're not going to do jack shit with
there's a new
Ashenvale.
event with
Done, so.
what's it called? Yeah, I think they just don't want to throw good money after bad because they are doing a new event in Blackrock. Sorry.
Yeah.
Burning Steps? No, is it the other? No, it is Burning Steps, yeah.
It's both sides of the map.
So they are going to do STV, but Burning STV. Woo! So I think it's...
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's going to be funny. Like, I don't know what... They're saying it's not going to be a PvP event, but PvP is going to be inevitable on a PvP server. Like, people are going to really, go after each other in those two areas. They're going to be massive, but I'm curious to see what it's all about and what they're hiding there. And if it's a new rep we got to farm.
Yeah, I mean, like, the changes that they are doing overall to the systems, I kinda like them, okay, if we wanna do something positive, because, like, people look at the lockout they are gonna put in incursions, and that doesn't, and, like, people don't really see what it actually means for fixing incursions. How do incursions work that everybody hates it, okay? You go in, you do all the picking up stuff and talking to people quests, you skip all the killing quests, you skip all the hard quests, and you do it and loop and loop and loop and loop. But, like, if you're locked out, you gotta do all the quests, because like you run out of quests if you don't do all the other quests. So like I think people are gonna start doing the killing quests, people are gonna start doing the other quests that they are supposed to do but they do not do because it's less efficient. I think that's gonna be the... that should have been the case from day one. Make it a daily lockout. And that's it, you do your 15 quests, you get like a level a day, and fine. Give it more XP, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I also think another thing, I guess a last note I can think on the top of my head, because I think we discussed mainly a lot of things. The one thing I do hope that it doesn't happen is that the leveling experience is blasted this time around. I think with Incursions, we went from, basically 40 to 50 super fast. And now we're about to go from 50 to 60. I really hope it's not super fast like it was Incursions. I hope it's a nice steady rate, like a good rate, something that's like not too bad and it's bearable. But I hope it's not something where it's like, holy shit, we just blasted through levels like it was nothing. But I have a feeling that we're gonna blast through 60.
I think it will be. I mean, honestly, like the thing about the endgame on Classic is it doesn't start at 60, it starts at 58, Like at 58, you go to your Blackrock depths, you go to your Ubers. And I think like a lot of LVRS probably nobody's going to have the freaking key. I hate that thing. But
yeah, for sure.
But like, I think we're going to blast through it. Like we're getting 100%, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're going to blast through it. And
Double XP.
Depending on this new... Yeah, and also I think I'm going to call it now before I don't call it. I have a feeling that this new Blackrock Eruption event, or whatever it is, might be a way to get XP faster. And doing your daily or weekly incursion, whatever the hell it is also going to only add to benefit of getting your XP faster as well. So I have a feeling some type of new way of like blasting through XP is going to happen. And this might cause like a dilemma on, the communities on how people go about leveling within Season of Discovery, because people are so used to leveling in dungeon content. And if this event is really good, this could be an event where people are going to be leveling just way quicker through this than normal.
I mean, that's the problem I see with like Season of Discovery design, the approach that they are taking. Like, I don't mind making the levelings fast, personally, but like, I hate that they force you to go to the new thing to level fast, like... yeah, you can level 4 times faster, but only if you do incursions, only if you do Ashen Veil, only if you do whatever, like... I would like it if it was just a global thing and everything was more or less the same. I don't think they're going to do that, though. I think it's going to be, like you said, I think we're going to get the event, and that's going to be the XP.
Yeah, it's very possible. Like I said, it's just a hypothetical guess, and it's not like guaranteed. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I just want to call it now, just in case where like the future happens, and I'm basically Nostradamus and I'm calling stuff out. I can come back and said, you know what, I said so. This shit's fucking happening, and I can't believe it. It is what it is.
Are you gonna make gold farming guides with mage?
Oh, shit, bro. We don't need a gold farm anymore, bro. We pull out freaking the good old credit card, brother. Big old swipe.
Well, you told me you were Nostradamus. I thought, oh boy, there's a
Oh, no, I get what you're saying, but brother, when you got the MasterCard, everything is fine, all right? We swipe our way in Season. We're swiping of Discovery. It's simple as that.
Discovery card. There you go.
Yeah, yes. Swiping of Discover card.
Easter egg. There you go. That's why it's
Season
called Discovery.
Discover card.
Next season is going to be called Season of MasterCard.
That's why it makes sense. Think about it. It's all there. Season of MasterCard, Season of Discover card. That is dead ass it. That's dead ass it, dude. That is funny as shit.
Season of stealing from your mom. That's for Fortnite.
It is what it is, man. I'm sorry that you're negative 300 in your bank account, but I needed them Arcanite bars.
Bro, you know Habbo Hotel, that crappy 2D game from the browser from like 2008? It was like...
No, I don't remember.
It was like a Second Life or something like that. It was like a crappy browser game. I had a friend that was like... his mother ran like a store, and back in the day, like before swiping with the credit card was a thing, you would pay microtransactions with your phone. You would text your phone and they would subtract it of your balance, like... Because you had to
gosh.
Remember when you had to buy physical plastic cards that you would scratch and put in your phone for...
No, yeah, I remember that.
Well, yeah, like he stole like $400 worth of cards from his mom. this guy
Oh my
on that
God,
game.
dude.
And,
Holy. That is
yeah.
insane.
And like then they tell you that microtransactions aren't evil. He was like 10.
No, that's nuts. That's
Oh,
that old school gambling. That's that
yeah.
classic or OG game. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it's nuts, man. I mean, I think the first technical or technically, I don't even know if you want to call it a transaction, so to say, but like, um, it might have been in Call of Duty for me, or it might have been with Xbox during the 360 era. But that was the first time I ever started doing transactions. But at this point, like, listen, I'm not going to knock people who do, gold buying or whatever they do. Hey, at the end of the day, you do you. You know what I mean? If you're not getting caught, it is what it is. But I don't advise it. But not gonna lie, with these prices on the auction house, Blizzard ain't making it easy for people to not do it, so to say. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah,
The
like,
reason why it's still there.
and wait until Black Lotus comes into play, bro, because that's gonna be
Oh,
awful.
just all I know is, chat. I hope you guys have some good jobs. Swipe, get your loan.
Yeah,
That's so
if you
bad.
can, if you
That's
can,
so
if you can
bad.
drop a super chat, guys, I need some consumables this week.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
exactly. Yeah. But overall, though, yeah, that's really all about it. Is there anything else you want to go over, brother?
No, I think we had a really, really good pod tonight, brother. Let's
No,
see.
definitely, man, definitely.
People are saying, imagine the price of righteous orbs. That's not gonna be that
Dude,
crazy. You can farm them in strat, If it gets too expensive, people are gonna farm them. There's an unlimited supply of them,
No, facts, man. I think you'll get the righteous orbs pretty relatively easily. It's whether going for the legendaries. I think that's where things are gonna get a little pricier. I also think that things that are gonna cost pricey as well.
Arcanite.
I mean, like Flask is gonna be pretty damn expensive. Your raid consumables, of course. But we'll see what happens with the community. Overall.
You don't wanna farm 800 sulfur on ingots? What's wrong with you? I thought you had your heart into the Paladin. You're not gonna get your 800 sulfur on ingots?
Bro, I told you, brother. Season of Discovery card, bro. We'll get those Arcanite bars one. Don't worry about that, brother.
Points on the cashback on my card. Yeah.
Don't worry about it, brother. Well, I'm sure the viewers will send a couple thousand gold. Send it my way.
Yeah, that's right.
That is what it
I'm
is,
gonna have
dude.
to eat beans on camera for consumables. That's gonna be the way I'm gonna pay for them. Jack
there
is
it
right.
is. Cold beans, brother. Cold beans, brother. Amen.
Straight off the can. Alright, so it was a
Absolutely,
lovely episode, Telo. I'm gonna put your channel in the thingy here. I suck at this thing to this day. But okay, there you go. Hello, J Telo. I'm gonna drop.
No, I appreciate you.
I'm gonna drop his YouTubes right there. You subscribe, or your legs are gonna become split in two by unnatural reasons. So I wouldn't advise that.
Subscribe to Sam Medina, guys. What are you doing? Don't get shot out here in Minecraft. And go give this man Twitch Primes or YouTube Primes, whatever it is.
YouTube
give him everything.
Primes.
Whatever everyone want to call it nowadays. At the end of the day, give this man your money. Much love to you. He's a great content creator, and I appreciate you having me on here, man. I always enjoy these talks, brother.
It's always great. All right, guys. Much love. Sign off. Pray for the holy light. Eat your vegetables and stay in school.